Hello. How are y'all? Heidi, I can't see you. Are you there? Hello? That's odd. I can't see anything.
What I did, I turned my, there I am.
Oh, there you are.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. It's Heidi and Tatiana. Okay, we're both on screen. Okay, sorry. So what's happening is we're trying out a new streaming service called StreamYards because Google Hangouts is gone. So it's going to be a little bit different today. We're just trying out something new, but I think it's actually so far, I kind of like it. So anyway, welcome to everyone. We were supposed to do this last week, and then Tatiana, you want to tell us everyone what happened?
Well, basically, like from last Monday to like Thursday, which was supposed to be the broadcast, the power kept going off. Like the power just kept going on and off and on and off and on for 3 freaking days. I was going crazy. I had to sleep in like heat and a battery powered fan.
Yeah,
So
because you had no electricity at all, so you didn't have any AC and it's been so hot, right?
oh, believe me,
Oppressive.
no electricity in a tropical island is not fun at all whatsoever. But basically, I ended up going to my mother's house, and I was going to try to do the live stream there, but I wouldn't have gotten home until like 8 because my sister had some classes that ended at 6. So I just
Yeah.
missed it.
Well, I'm glad we're able to do this. We've got a few people here. We've got Angel over is here and 30-day reviews. Woohoo! In the house. We're hopefully going to get some more people. Okay, Tatiana, what we're going to, everyone, we're just going to do this. This is our logo. And then, Tatiana, we're going to do our opening, okay?
Sure,
You ready?
sure. Yes, raining man. Oh, hallelujah.
Hallelujah, it's raining men.
Oh, hey,
Amen. It's raining men.
hallelujah.
It's raining man.
Amen.
Okay, that's our attempt at doing that was fun actually. Yeah, we're trying to okay, it's an all 80s, all access live stream tonight. We're doing what's the show we're doing? We're doing Stranger Things. Okay, so I want to let everyone know. So if you haven't seen up to season 3 of Stranger Things, there might be some spoilers. Well, I mean, we're going to be looking at the costumes, so it's not going to be, we won't get probably too much into maybe the details as much, but yeah, just fair warning, there might be some spoilers. Hi, Dornish wench. And the other thing before we start is I have Tatiana. Did you watch All the Gentleman Jack?
Oh yes, yes I did.
And your thoughts
It
on
was
that?
slow starting, but I really got into it at the end.
I found it slow at the beginning too, but then it was a total payoff, though, right?
Yeah, the finale was awesome.
Yeah. And also the beginning, I didn't know if I liked her. I thought she was kind of manipulative and, I was like, well, she's not a very nice person.
That's why part I didn't really get into it. Like I could see where it was going. That she's using her, but then she falls in love with her. It's like,
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, but she had a really good arc though. Like she had a wonderful arc.
Yeah, and I just love what I love the most is that she's actually a real person,
Yes.
and not just in the show. I mean, like historically, she was a real person, and that's like awesome. And like, how has this woman and Lister not been made like a LGBT champion or an LGBT patron saint?
Yeah.
Because like, there she was.
You felt bad for the lady's maid Angel over? I was trying to say her name the other day, but I was like, I'm not going to say it. I think it's Eugenie. Eugenie. It's just like Princess Eugenie is the name of the lady's maid, and because she had carriage sickness,
Oh yeah.
or
I think you
carriage
should do
sick.
like a second, no offense, but I think you should do like a second one last video for Gentleman Jack because there were like so many costumes that you didn't talk about.
I know. And I cut the third one down because I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so long. So yeah, I know. And Tom, like, I mean, he gave me so much information. So if anybody hasn't seen it, I did a series of videos on the costumes of Gentleman Jack that I interviewed the costume designer, Tom Pye. The full interviews on my Facebook channel. He is so lovely, by the way. You know, you were asking me how I got that interview. What happened was I was like, oh, I'll just reach out and see if anything happens. Sometimes I get ignored, but I reached out to his, I found his agent. So I reached out to him and then like within a few days, he responded to me. And he's like, no problem. And then I would be like, where do you shop? And I'm like, unless you don't want to tell me. Because with Game of Thrones, everything's so secretive. They won't tell you squat, right? Yeah. Whereas he told me everything. He goes, I got this fabric here and I bought this fabric here and I like to shop here and I bought all this from Etsy and I got all this from, really, really, I based this costume on this particular look. So I've been like sharing it all out on Twitter and Facebook and just all of his, and it's really fun. And then Brenna Ariel, who is a costume historian, she helped me do the Outlander video. I don't even remember.
Yeah. And
her area is Scottish history, but she saw one of the pictures I posted and she goes, oh, that shawl that model is wearing is cashmere. And I'm like, how do you even know that's cashmere? It's like it's a painting from like the 1830s. She goes, oh, that's my area of study. And I'm like, oh my God, you studied cashmere, early 19th century shawls? Like it's so specific, Eugenie. Yeah. So how does everyone say her name? Eugenie? Or because I thought it was like,
I thought they say like Eugenie.
Eugenie, because she's French, right? But Eugenie. So the other thing is I'm working, this is really fun. I'm working on a video on epic costumes of Hollywood. I'm so excited about it. I decided I really wanted to do, yes, like Marilyn Monroe, Yeah, like the gold Cleopatra costume, Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. So I'm doing a couple of those. Yeah, I decided I work in a group and we were like, he challenged us to come up with something that he thought that my audience would really, really love. And I thought, well, it's summer and I thought that would be a really fun thing to do. So that's what we're doing. So I'm working on that. And then Tatiana, this week, I think it was last week, I did a live stream with John, the composer. He might pop in, and Rebecca talking about season 1 of Game of Thrones. And I was like, we were looking at Baylor and there's this costume in the scene of Baylor of like one of the high septons that I have never seen before. And I'm like, oh my God, this costume is amazing. And I was like, so it made me think about when we talked about doing the costumes that don't get a lot of, they don't get a lot of love, right? What were you going to call it?
The overlooked costume.
Yeah, so we should do that. So this is what, I don't know what you guys think about this. So Tatiana and I and Aaron had talked about doing overlooked costumes from Game of Thrones. So maybe we can do a poll, like put up a couple of polls and see, like maybe do one for men and one for women to see. But we definitely decided Tormund has to be on there, especially after I interviewed Linnea, sorry. She said, don't worry, because I said to her, how do I say that? And she says, well, it's Swedish and you'll probably, don't worry about it. She was very kind.
I decided that it's fine.
Yeah. So anyways, but today we're doing 80s. As you can see, the beautiful, I wonder if I can just put it on you here. Can I just put it on you? How do I do that?
I do not know.
Okay. Okay. So anybody who's just joining us, everybody, I'm using a different system today. I'm using something called StreamYard. We usually use Google Hangouts, but YouTube and Google Hangouts have recently just ended it. Like I think just as of like Friday or something. So this is a change. So John, the composer, recommended I try this. So far so good. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
So Tatiana, why don't you tell everyone what you've been up to? Because you've got lots going on.
Well, I have finally finished everything I needed to do to complete to go to college. I have sent all the forms. Everything is paid for, and now I'm just trying to get what little money I can before leaving and packing. And basically just need to buy my ticket.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, tell them what you're doing. They don't even know what you're doing.
I have been accepted to do my master's in acting at Pace University, New York. So I'm going there by probably August 28th.
Yeah, and then we'll have to arrange for me to come down to New York and we can have a meetup,
Oh,
a girl
please.
hangout. Wouldn't that be fun? Because I can actually literally take a bus down there. That's how close I am to New York City. Well, I mean it's not super close, but it's fairly close.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, and they even have flights. Like they have like these flights from we have an island airport, so you can even fly out. So we should do something like that. I think it would be so fun.
Yeah, I mean, I could also
A girl weekend.
Can also go to Toronto.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never been to Canada, so that'd be fun.
Oh my God, you have to come here for sure. Well, I've never been to Puerto Rico, so I have to go there. We'll have to do like house swapping or something. Would your mom and dad mind come if I come and stay with them for a week? I'm just kidding. I won't do that to them. Okay, so everyone, we're going to talk about Stranger Things. So has everyone here seen it? Like we're talking about season 2 and 3. Put your hands up if you've seen it or haven't seen it. I've seen it. Okay, so we've seen it. We're all caught up. I know Vanessa like binge watched it. I think she's here. Vanessa, you here? There she is. So, okay, so what we're going to go to the pictures. Now, I wanted to start off with, this is the poster here. That's a pretty good poster, right? It's very retro looking. Just tell me if anybody can't see it, just tell me. And then just to start, before we get into it, I just wanted to show everybody how cute is this. Tatiana, you want to tell us about this? 30 days.
And during season 2, they kept talking about the winter formal and how they were gonna, dress the characters and everything. And I was inspired to do a custom design for 11 and Mike, because I just wanted them to be like the most beautiful people in the ball and stuff. And like that just came to me, and I looked all over Pinterest for like 80s costumes or 80s prom dresses. So that's basically what I've come up with.
It's super cute. Yeah, and like you've got like an overlay on 11, which was really big, and that collar was very hot in the 80s. Hey, Linda. And Mike looks really cute too, and you've got them coordinating with his little cummerbund and bow tie.
Yes.
So darling. Yeah, so I do have pictures here that we're going to show you guys and everyone. Is that your puppy? I can hear a puppy dog.
Oh, that's my dog.
Yeah.
That's my dog, barking.
So anyway, now I've got these are just some behind the scenes shots. So if anybody doesn't know, the show was created by these two dudes here, the Duffer brothers. Are they identical twins? I think they're twins. They look very much alike.
Probably.
Yeah.
They're very similar.
So they are. I think I can do that. So that's them there. Those two. They're kind of cute. So they're the creators of the show. And then there's just some of the cast here at the super mall that they sort of they created for season 2 or season 3. This is season 3. So what was your overall sort of like thoughts about season 3 when you saw it, Tatiana?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was weird because it felt like a transition season because all the kids are growing up. All the teenagers are growing into adults, and basically, there were some nostalgic moments that like really hit hard. But overall, I just loved it. I loved it very much. I really liked it, and like it's sad because like people I've seen like internet like complaining that it wasn't as good as say season 1. But honestly, season 1 is gonna be the best.
Yeah.
I definitely like that more than season 2. Definitely.
I liked it better too. Like Dorna Schwunch was just saying she thinks it's the best season so far, and I think so too. I mean, season 1 was obviously really solid. It was like it had all it had all the notes there that it needed. It had the character development, but this was a really great expansion in how we see the children and the kids grow. So anyway, so we're gonna start off with the kids. Season 3. So we're gonna sort of go in order, and I've got a little bit of info that I can share with you guys as we go along, just from the costume designers. Now, one of the things I was gonna say before we get going is, now one of the things I noticed, there was 3 different costume designers. So season 1, actually it was 2 girls in season 1, and then a different costume designer in season 2, and then a different one again in season 3. So I'm not sure what the reason behind that was. So in season,
maybe they just kept like changing costume designers because the other people have things to do.
well, and also like I noticed it seems to be a newer thing. Like for instance, on The Crown, they have a different costume designer every year, and then Westworld had a different costume designer each year as well. So I don't know, maybe that's just a thing. So yeah, so in season 3, her name is, what's your name, girl?
Wasn't it Paris?
Paris, yeah, she's got an unusual name, and she worked on Westworld season 1. She was the assistant in season 1 to Anne Crabtree, I guess. So, and then she's moved on to doing this. So,
Cool.
so let's get to the kids, and then we can sort of just chat about it, and everyone in the chat can sort of tell us what they think. So there's no special order to this, okay? This is just sort of when they arrive to find Billy. Do you remember this scene?
Oh yes, yeah.
It's a great scene, eh?
It's very, what's the word that I'm looking for? Unnerving. Very, very unnerving.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I noticed about this, like they're wearing what we used to call these slickers when I was like in middle school, let's say. And everyone in the Maritimes had them, and they came in a bunch of different colors, and they were reversible like this. So, you know, she's got the Max has the one on the right that's yellow, and then it's lined in red, and then 11 has the one on the left that's red. I think it's maybe purple on the inside. So that was like, I remember those being a really big fashion trend back then.
Oh yeah, definitely. I just love the color combination that the show does so well. Like, and really, if you think about it, maybe again, it's just me going down the rabbit hole. But like the symbolism, it might not be as overt as say something like Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
but it's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there if you can see it. Like her, like 11 L wearing this red coat and Sam.
Max.
Sorry. Oh my God, she looks like a Sam. Max wearing the yellow. It's like you can see in terms of the scene.
Yeah.
The mood. You don't even need to see that. You don't even need to see that their faces to the mood, because Max she's scared, one of her brother, and two of what is happening with him, because as much as they may fight and argue, they are siblings, and she does care about him as a talent. But
Yeah.
whereas
Tatiana, I'm losing you a little bit here. Have you got your mouse near the microphone?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. It just sounded a little bit muffled for some reason.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Anyways, whereas Elle, she's just gone full on warrior, as she always does when people are in trouble. And I just love that like words. I have no words.
Hi, John. John Latham's here. Hi, John.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
hi.
AU.
Hello, John.
Hi, John. John, you missed us singing.
Lol.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with you. And it's funny because I was reading here some of the notes from the costume designer. She's sort of saying like Max is like, she's from California. Like she's sort of, you know, your typical skateboarder, you know, California beach girl. So she's always got these like really bright, like she wears yellow and oranges and like really bright, vivid colors. And then of course, Billy here is dressed nothing like what Billy would dress like.
Yeah.
So that was probably her first clue. Something was off.
That's basically like, oh no. That's basically everyone's to the no.
Yeah.
Like even if you hadn't seen like the previous scenes with him in the pool,
Yeah.
you know something is off just by him looking like.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. So he's Okay, so let's move on here. So this is these again aren't necessarily in order. So here's them when they were coming back from the mall. So someone was talking about the mall earlier, saying something about Duluth. Can you tell me what that's all about? Was it shot in Duluth? I've been
Oh
there. I was.
yeah, that's actually was an abandoned mall. From what I
Oh,
from my
okay.
It was an abandoned mall in Duluth, Georgia, that they scouted and they basically transformed that abandoned building into Starport Mall.
Oh, okay. Okay. Um. Oh, because I've been to Duluth, or what is it? Duluth.
Georgia.
It wasn't Georgia that I was in, though. I don't think it was a different. Is there more than one Duluth in the States?
I would not know. I was there.
It is in. It's in Minnesota. That's the one I was in. Is there another Duluth, guys?
Oh, there's one in Minnesota. There's one in North Dakota.
Okay, I was in the one in Minnesota. So I was there in the 80s, and I have to tell you, it was not the nicest place.
Wow.
I was like, because I was in high school, right? And it was just, and went to Fargo as well. We went on this family vacation. I was like 15, and of course, I didn't want to be there with my parents. And all I wanted to do was go shopping. And so we went to Minneapolis, and they had this mega mall there, and I wanted to go there so badly. So my parents let me go, this giant mega mall, because I think that must have been a new thing too, having the mega malls.
Yeah, like the Mall of America. That's like the biggest one.
Absolutely. Yeah. So now, I mean, obviously, these are like super bright colors. What'd you
Oh,
think of these outfits? I love them.
this might be my no. It's not might be. It in fact is my favorite 11 costume of the entire show.
Yeah, it's really
I
great.
absolutely adore this costume. I want it. I want to rip it from her body and wear it.
They already have, listen to this, they already have a knockoff of it on Amazon.
I'm going to buy it.
Except it looks really cheap. So maybe someone on Etsy will make it or something because it just. So what I was going to say, what does she say here about it? Paris, who's the costume designer. She said, the mall rats of the 80s. This is what Paris, the costume designer, said. The mall rats of the 80s were wearing these crisscross belts, and accessories were a huge thing. She just gets excited to pile it all on, and it's colors and prints that she's not worn before. It was a chance for her to choose her own look and guide her own fashion sense. Yeah, because obviously, she kept wearing stuff that was given to her by Hopper, right? And it was terrible.
It
It's
was.
like,
It was.
and her bedroom, like I even tweeted this. I'm like, could someone please give poor 11 a makeover on that ugly bedroom? Like, was that not the ugliest teen bedroom you'd ever seen?
Oh my god, yes. I was like, oh my god, like Max, get in there and do like a freaking
It was so bad. Yeah.
thing like that. The Home Improvement TV show that's like popular.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like pimp that room.
So what Paris said is they used a mix of vintage and rented pieces, but they had to custom build most of 11's shirts because they needed multiples for,
Yeah,
all of
well,
the blood and gore scenes right there. So it's kind of like a romper, really.
yeah, it's like a little pantsuit.
Yeah, you can see how little Max is actually standing next to the Duffer Brothers. She's like super tiny, eh?
She's so tiny, she's so petite, and I love her pants too.
Yeah. So did you see the note about her pants? What Paris said? So what she said is, Paris says, okay, so she's a skateboarder and she's from a beach town and she's a bit of a tomboy, so she likes to wear a lot of color and the boys don't really know what to do with her. I was thinking about, she grew up in a beach town and she loves to skateboard, so we wanted to incorporate some of the brands that I remember being very important to the particular crowd. She wears a lot of Vans. You guys know what Vans are, I think. We wanted to riff off some of the Ocean Pacific and Hang Ten wear that was the thing. So when I was in high school, for instance, I used to wear Ocean Pacific, which was like really pastel. You can still find some of it on vintage
Oh my
Ocean
god.
Pacific.
When I was in high school, I used to wear it Hardy, like all the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then she says, so we wanted to create some looks for her to make her this other vibe in this slightly brighter color palette. She's the new breath of fresh air in Hawkins. Sorry, that's for season 2. So in season 3, got these out of order. Oh, here it is. Paris says, so for season 3, she's still got her sun-soaked California vibe. Her stripes were smaller and more muted from last season. Now they're a little bolder, a little brighter, a little bigger. And then it says that Paris custom designed a pair of vintage shorts for Max based off of a pattern that she found. So she says, I found a pair of shorts in a thrift store that had a great, interesting front yoke with double buttons. It's summer and this is her prime. So yeah, you can see that style. So that was a big thing, which I have to say, this is not flattering if you're even like the least bit like bigger. So yeah, so it's got like this super wide belt and then gathers, which, oftentimes you don't want on your jeans if you have hips at all. But if you're slim and lanky, it looks great.
Rocket, yeah. She looks great. She looks, for like a teenager, she looks pretty curvaceous.
She is quite curvaceous. Yeah, like her legs are really shapely. I guess it's all the bike riding and skateboarding and stuff.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, John says, I was wondering what they used for sourcing these clothes. I thought they took them from my wife's closet. Oh, John! Oh. That's funny. You know what's funny? I did a years ago, I did a movie where we had to, everything was sent contemporary, but we'd had a lot of background that would come and they would bring their own clothes. And I got in trouble because one of the background performers, all of her clothes were 80s, and the head of wardrobe reamed me out. She's like, well, what the hell is she wearing? And I'm like, I don't know. These are the clothes she brought with her. All her clothes are from the 80s. She goes, this is supposed to be like 2000. This isn't supposed to be the 1980s. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do about it? Like, I don't know.
Maybe that could work into the character. She's a character lost in the past.
Well, the thing is, too, is that, not every, like, okay, if you're doing background, not everyone in the background is going to be dressed like current. Like, they're going to be dressed in all different years because, like, if people have good pieces, they don't just throw them out, right? Dornish West says, these style of shorts are available at American Eagle and Urban Outfitters right now. Yeah, so they've just already done a bunch of knockoffs. That's terrible.
Also, you have to think about, like, this, the 80s is coming back, basically.
It is, yeah. Well, that's the other thing that Paris said about, it was actually a little bit easier because the pants right now are so high-waisted, which was a huge 80s thing, and so it's a lot easier to do that. So John, yeah, what they did, she combed, like she went through, she bought a lot of stuff on eBay. They went to all kinds of different vintage places and purchased. And so she just combed things, but for the principals, they had to build some of it because they needed multiple. So this is this other shirt of hers. It's really great. It has that sort of like batik look, which was really big in the 80s.
Yeah.
Or block printing or whatever. So, so this one, I think as well, they built for her. And there she is. There, she's so cute.
Yeah, she's adorable. But yeah, she just looks so great, and I love that this season, it's her finding herself, and because I cannot stress enough how important Max is to Eleven's storyline. Because before this, she only had dealings with men. Whether it be the scientists at Hawkins' lab, whether it be Hopper or Mike, is this basically, and yeah, she has like sort of mother figure with Winona Ryder, but she doesn't hang out with Winona Ryder, and also Winona Ryder wouldn't really be like the best role model in terms of fashion if we go by anything that we see in the show.
Yeah, and also like Max introduces her to comic books with female action heroes, like role models, which is really cool. Here's Max. She's really cute. I love her red hair. She kind of got that Anna Green Gables type thing going on with the freckles and the red hair, and she's a nice sort of contrast to 11, who's sort of like a light brunette.
Yeah.
And I think she has brown eyes. Whereas Max has those really bright blue eyes. Look at this picture. Oh, I love it so much.
Love this.
So when we were in high school, we had this thing called like glamour shots. Did you have something like that, Tatiana, growing up?
I don't think so. I mean, I remember my little sister when she was like much younger. She did a glamour shots, but that was when she was like really little, like 5.
Yeah, so what had happened is they'd have a bunch of stuff you could wear, like try on, And
Yeah.
then they would take pictures of you, and they'd usually put like a filter on it, like a soft filter, so that made you look really. It was kind of like an '80s thing. Like they used to sometimes even put Vaseline on the lens to give it that blurry kind of look.
Yeah. Make it
So I
look.
just love this. It's funny because while we're talking about '80s, I don't know if anybody's seen Glow. Jack and I just finished watching season 2 of Glow. It's so good. It stands for the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling.
Nice.
Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, and so they're going to be picking it up in on Friday will be season 3, but this sort of like those headpieces they're wearing, that sort of metallic sparkly taffeta,
Yeah.
there's this one scene where they're all wearing that. It's just so great. I love it. And then these shirts are kind of like that taffeta, the metallic taffeta.
Oh,
It's it's really cute. Yeah.
I love it. But
Yeah,
I just-
Jordan Schwench says Glow is great.
yeah. Another thing that I love about 11's costumes this season, outside of the color and the fabulousness, is her reaction to finally being able to like choose for herself.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I watched Queer Eye. I don't know if you watch it. I watched Queer Eye a lot. And one of the Fab Five, he says to one of the clients that when he came out as gay, he was immersed into the LGBT culture, and he started like wearing bright colors and parading the pride flag everywhere, and just being very flamboyant and wow, because this was like the first time he was immersed in this culture, and how he thought he had to do all these things to fit in, to
Mm-hmm.
be a normal LGBT member. But then with time he realized, no, I don't really like this type of, let's say, fashion or style, and he started like to model it more his towards his own life and his own style, and just what he was comfortable with. And I think that's really more or less what 11 is doing here.
Yeah.
Because she has been very sheltered her entire life, first with the scientists and with Robert, because as much as we love Robert and him.
Oh,
and I-
Tatiana, sorry, you're cutting out a little bit there too. I don't know if it's your,
Again?
Yeah, just your, I don't know if you're. I don't know. It's just weird. You put your face closer to the mic.
Okay.
That's
all right.
better.
But basically, as much as we love Mike and Hopper, and as much as they mean well, they do, in many ways, shelter her from the world because they don't want to see her hurt more than she has already been.
Mm-hmm.
But by doing that, she has no point of reference to become like herself, a self-made woman, more or less, to grow into the person that she really should be based on what she wants. It's basically like the guys are calling the shots, and no, don't do this, no, don't do that. When really they should just let her decide for herself. And I see this a lot with Mike in particular.
Well, and it's also, it's also the time period, because it's, almost 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And, or not, like 35 years ago. And things were kind of different back then. It was, it was a lot more sexist back then. Women didn't have as much agency over. They haven't actually touched on too many of those issues, I've noticed.
They did it mostly with Nancy.
More with Nancy, yeah, but not as much with the kids. But there's been a few times where the boys have just been really sexist, right?
Oh yeah, like when when 11 goes to like the upside down as like the empty room, basically, to spy on Mike and Lucas, and they're like, oh, women are crazy, women
Yeah.
are this, women are that, ugh. And she's like, oh hell no, I dump your ass. That is my favorite quote of the entire season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Vanessa. Actually, there was a lot of criticism about Hopper this season because it's like that toxic masculinity. But for him, I don't know. Like I kind of was like, I don't know that he's necessarily meant to be an all-round great character. I think he's supposed to have a lot of flaws. He's a flawed character. Yeah. And I didn't really mind that too much, but I could see what people would say about that. But again, it's part of the time period, like that sense of entitlement, and that he should be able to have whatever he wants because he wants it, as opposed to, well, maybe that's not what, what's her name wants, Winona Ryder's character wants.
I keep forgetting her name. Oh my god.
Joyce. Okay, so I'm not gonna. Okay, we'll touch on Steve in a minute, but I just want to do Dustin first. He kind of, because he was sort of the last 2 seasons, he's really kind of been on his own, right? He hasn't really been hanging out with the kids as much. He's been having sort of his own story arcs happening. So let me just tell you what. I've got this all out of order. Jack's like, you should really number your pages, and I told him to be quiet, and of course now I'm regretting it. So what Paris says is, we still want him. We still want to keep him feeling like Dustin, and just move with him. Oh wait, we still want to keep him feeling like Dustin. Okay, and just move him a little bit more into the 80s. In the 80s, that's the so-called nerds gravitated toward Weird Al and his music. So it seemed fitting that Dustin would wear that t-shirt. To complement that, we gave him the cassette tape shirt because he's starting to get into music. And then she had mentioned that they used thanks John. They had like an art department that did a lot of the graphics for the tees that they came up with. So they came up with some really fun stuff, which of course is probably all knocked off right now online. And then she said, now in terms of the Camp Nowhere uniform that he wore, the uniform is also custom designed with fonts and graphics by the art department, with his matching yellow, green, and orange trucker hat, which harks back to his signature red, white, and blue cap from earlier seasons. So this is one of the things. He's sort of like, he kind of reminds me of Sheldon a little bit, from The Big Bang Theory, where he's always wearing sort of really, really cool custom tees. So here's like one he's wearing. I don't know what this one says. Hey, Goddess! You're not late. Going over the 3rd season of Stranger Things, I see. Yes, we are.
We are, darling. Yes, we are.
Yeah, so there he is. So this is the Camp Nowhere, which is what the brothers came up with, that they wanted for him to have, and then the art department came up with that, and then there's the actual shirt there. And I love the colors, though, right?
I love the name of the camp, honestly.
It's really fun. Cool. It says 85.
It has levels. That name has levels, I think.
Totally.
Like, they are no. You can argue that Hawkins is in the middle of nowhere. For one. Like, and a lot of characters feel like they are going nowhere, but then again, like Dustin and the kids, they know things that most of the town does not know. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, look at the back of this. Look at the back here, by the way. And he's got his official Ghostbusters certificate. I don't know if that's like a Ghostbusters club or something.
Yeah.
And he's got this cute little friendship bracelet. I wonder if that's from his girlfriend. I don't know if that was mentioned in the show or not. Isn't she adorable, by the way?
Oh my god. I know people complain about that sequence with the Never Ending Story theme.
Yeah.
But I live so much for it.
I loved it.
I love it.
The only thing my husband said, being an AV guy, is that wouldn't work. You can't have two-way singing. It's one or the other, right? So I mean, on a technical level, but I loved it too. So here he is here, and then he's wearing like the khaki shorts. This is sort of like, your typical camp uniform.
Yeah.
I went to a place called Camp New Yorka, which was in Ontario, but and we wore these. It's like these are called ringer tees. So it's got like the band around the neck and on the armholes. That was sort of a big thing in the in the 70s and the 80s. One of the things that cracks me up, because of course from our, the way we look at things now from our 2000s eyes, is how short the shorts are on the boys.
Oh yeah.
It just feels really awkward. And then those haircuts.
Oh,
so bad.
It does not go with Mike's facial structure.
Not at all. And meanwhile, in real life, he's so stylish. He's got curly ringlets, and he's just totally, and he's in a band, and he's, But those bowl cuts, oh my God.
They should die a horrible death.
But apparently I was reading that they said that they were really professional. The kids were really professional. They weren't like, I'm not wearing that. They were like, totally, I'm wearing that. They were completely on board. Very professional. Great group of kids. Yes, Dorothy Hamill, absolutely. Yeah, my sister had this haircut, and I hated it even then. I never liked it. She had it in high school. So here's a group shot of the kids. So what does she say about the kids? Let's just meet. She says, Lucas, Mike, and Will. Okay, so she says, we made Mike feel a little more mature. Sorry, he's not in this shot. Let me go back to him here. And yeah, you can see he's taller actually than the other ones too, right? He's got more solid polo shirts. He still has some stripes and patterns, but his outfits are not as juvenile or as young looking as Will's. And you can see between their clothing that Will hasn't grown as much, but you can see that Mike is maturing a little bit more in the colors and patterns he's choosing. And she's saying one of the reasons why is that Will's clothes are obviously hand-me-downs from his brother Jonathan. You know, they don't have as much money, whereas Mike, their family has more money. I don't know what by the way, the father.
Actually, if you think about it, Mike is starting to look a lot more like his father.
Yeah, but the father, his glasses and that outfit, and like, you're like, oh my God. Anyway, she's like, what have I ended up with?
Like, I am rethinking my own decisions.
I'm just trying to remember what kind of job the dad has, but they're quite well off.
Yeah, I think he's like I don't know, like a doctor or a banker or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a lawyer. Probably.
No, Dornschwein says Will the Wise costume is the moment. I want that Funko. They should do that as a Funko. That would be really good. So here we have and what do you think of Lucas's hat here? What do you think of this with the shade thing at the back? So nerdy.
He's I don't know, he keeps reminding me of like Indiana Jones a bit.
Yeah.
Hat.
He's trying to impress. Well, I was reading that apparently Max has a thing for Ralph Macchio from Ralph Macchio from what do you call it, Karate Kid. So she was sort of like channeling that a little bit with him. Like she was like trying to give him a bit of a Ralph Macchio look. Like this outfit of Mike's, oh my God, this one cracks me up. He's got the drawstring pants. Like I wouldn't have been caught dead with any guy at school that looked like this. He's wearing like drawstring pants and a button-down striped yellow shirt. I just would not have been caught dead. I would have been like, walk the other way.
When I saw him in that outfit, I said, L, you can do so much better. L, run away.
And his legs are so skinny, and then he's wearing these like really short socks with the stripes. Oh my God! Hi, hey, Hax Dogma, how are you? It's so nice to see you.
Oh, hi, Hax Dogma.
Hopefully I haven't missed anybody. 30 days. Tell me if I've missed saying hi to anybody. Yeah, he's just like, it's just dweeb. You know, there were these two boys in my class, and one of them was, I know it was Ross Carruthers. The other kid, I can't remember. It's funny too, because his father was gorgeous. Like his father looked like Alan Alda, like a young Alan Alda, if anybody knows who Alan Alda is. But the son was such a dweeb. And so the two of them, like they were just your typical nerdy dweeby kids. They kind of look like this. Probably I know they play Dungeons and Dragons, and they used to play Star Wars like with sticks, like with wooden swords or whatever. And we were like, oh my God, like get me away. Because we just didn't even want to be, associated with that. Because I probably thought of myself as being like a Nancy. But she was probably much nicer than I was when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I probably was not that nice. I would have not have talked to any of these kids, but that's why I feel the wardrobe is so good. It just feels so realistic.
Yeah, Goddess says, I absolutely love Lucas's cap.
Yes, isn't that great? With the tropical sort of
flower things.
He has really great hats.
Yeah, he does.
Oh yeah, Dornish Wedge says, has anybody had that couch growing up? Like, look at this couch with all the Afghans on it. Like, that's so awesome. I love it.
I did it. My mom would be caught dead with a couch like that.
It's got like those. It's actually like one of those. It's like a wooden frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the styling on this is so great. And then Goddess says, we all had clothes as kids that we wish didn't exist, but sadly we were forced to wear them at some point. It's so true. My mom used to get really mad when we would go shopping. Like we would have full on fights when we would go shopping. And I said to Jack, my husband, I said, I don't know why my mom just didn't give me like a loaded credit card, like with a certain amount and go here, just so she didn't have to deal with me. Because
Well,
we would have huge fights.
yeah.
All right.
But I basically, when it comes to me, my mom is like my fashion guru because she's like one of the most stylish people I know. So basically, it's like, yeah, just buy me something, surprise
Yeah.
me, like, "Oh," and she always knows, what to buy.
Yeah, the wood paneling they were talking about. This is in their basement, I think, right?
That is 70s. That is not even 80s, that's 70s.
That's actually like more 70s than 80s even.
Yeah.
If anybody's watching The Dark, they have like The Dark. I know Asun's watching it. They have like a flashback to the 80s, or like it's like multiple timelines. So they have a whole 80s aesthetic in there too. It's really funny.
Yeah.
And then Lucas is wearing this really brightly colored hat, like totally contrasting, totally clashing with these like sort of army fatigue style pants. It's just like hilarious. I love it.
I think like the camel drawstring pants is like a bit of a nod to season 1 when
Sure.
he went all Black Panther.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right. And there's Mike
And
in the background with his bike and his drawstring pants.
also like the lady in the back with like the magenta purplish dress. I love that color.
Yeah, who was just saying that? Angel Lover was saying that too. What actually, I was just going to read this to you. This is kind of fun. John, you can make fun of me if you want with my papers out of order. She said, where is
Hi,
it here?
Scully.
We're getting a good group of people in here.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Scully. How are you doing? So nice to see you here.
And you.
What did she say? Tatiana, talk for a minute while I find this, if you can.
Sure. Well, I basically just love this show, and I love the costumes because it just makes me want to live during that time. Because it looks so there's so much drama that have not only like the historical events of it, but just in like everyday life. And I think the show really captures it and just captures it so well. Although people do like they tend to critique this show because of all the product placement. But I think if there's any show that can put in product placement and get away with it, is this one. Because
Mm-hmm.
like 80s is basically the height of consumerist America.
I was just going to mention, this must be a crew guy here wearing the Nirvana shirt. Because Nirvana didn't come out until...
That was 90s. That was definitely 90s.
Yeah. No, okay, so here, she said this, everybody, this is how they got on with dressing extra, Paris said. Everybody gets a big necklace or a big earring because the accessories were so big. The minute you put a white earring on somebody, they're in the 80s. It's true, you don't really see, except for pearls, you don't really see white jewelry like now as much, I don't think. There's Will in his wizard outfit. Goddess says, I don't recall many kids in the 80s and 90s having spectacular fashion sense, myself included. I recall being in love with my magenta and black polka dot jumpsuit my mom made me, not a great look. Yeah, my sister used to make a lot of clothes, so I had a lot of stuff that she made as well. But I would mix it with like vintage, and which was really not cool to wear vintage, by the way, in the 80s. Like new was the thing. Like wearing any vintage was really not cool.
Lol.
Oh, thanks so much, Scully. I appreciate that. I saw your comment. Scully said that they liked my last video. So yeah, here's Will's wizard outfit. So we're hoping to maybe see. This is a really nice costume, actually.
Mood. Definitely a mood. This is probably one of my favorite scenes in the season.
Okay.
The Will of the Wise sequence and the fallout from that, because it just shows best how they're growing up and how poor Will hasn't. And you
Yeah.
can see why. I mean, the last 2 seasons, he was either trapped in the Upside Down or controlled by the Mind Flayer. He hasn't had that moment. He hasn't had those times to grow up. He hasn't had the space for the freedom to really experience life and grow with it. He has
Yeah.
he has been,
So he's
and
he's
there's
kind of been robbed. He's been robbed of it.
he's basically been robbed of his childhood for the
Yeah.
most part. Basically.
Absolutely.
And there's one scene in particular when after they have their fallout, when he's leaving Mike's house, and Mike and him get into the argument about him being jealous of 11 and Max. And Mike says, "Oh, what do you know? You don't even like girls." And did that Nazi just spring up so many conversations in the internet, because like,
Oh, yeah.
now everybody's like, "Oh, is Will gay? Is Will not gay? Is Will asexual? Is Will, what was it? Is Will just, a late bloomer? Is this? Is this that?" It's like, yeah, thanks, Vanessa. That's what he said. That's what Mike said to him. It's not my fault that you don't like girls. It's like,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think it's still too early to tell because he's so young. But I wouldn't mind if they made him asexual. I kind of want Will to be an asexual character because there's so little representation about asexuals in media. I can count with like less than a hand how many asexual characters I've seen in movies.
Yeah. By the way, Tatiana, I don't know if you noticed that I was able. If anyone's just coming in here, I'm trying out a new streaming service called StreamYard, which because Google Hangouts is gone. So I actually, did you see this, Tatiana? I've got both of us on the screen now. Isn't that fun? So you can see us while we're talking.
You can see my hair.
Scully was asking me, how did they get purple dyes back then? Do you mean in the 80s? Because in the 80s, they had all full access to all the chemical dyes. Chemical dyes have actually been around for a long time. Natural dyes obviously have been around for ages, for centuries, but chemical dyes have actually been around since the 1800s, maybe even earlier, some of them. And it was just really more the wealthy people who would have them. But anything in the 80s, they would definitely have chemical dyes available to them, if that's what you were referring to, Scully. So let me go on here. So you see all these great colors. So like Will, oh my God, Will's wearing like purple shorts with a red and white and sort of taupey colored beige striped shirt. It's like so hilarious.
You know what? Something that I really love about this photo and some other photos that you have is the distinction between Elle and the rest of the kids.
Yes.
There's because this, like, shorts notwithstanding, you see this at least from the waist up, and the kids, they look timeless. They like, you can see shirts like that today.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
can see the polo shirts, the long sleeve striped shirts, the
like, and then it's funny because it's very Mike is wearing his collar down, which is really uncool back then. You would wear it up like Steve wore it. Yeah. But no, totally. A lot of these things are like polo shirts, golf shirts, like people would wear.
And yet you see 11, and she's basically like the picture of stereotypical 80s.
Yeah, and I like it because this kind of reminds me. It's like what they call it, ink blot kind of look, but it also has a bit of an outer space, like otherworldly kind of look to it. I think. Like, remember sort of like the obsession in the 80s with like outer space and movies and telekinesis and all that kind of thing. So I kind of like it. And then, someone says she's wearing this scrunchie. I think both her and Max are wearing scrunchies. And the suspenders, which was so great.
Yes, I love those.
Yeah. Angel Over says, I think chemical purple was made in 1850. Like, because they would have had indigo lava lamp shirt. Yes, totally a lava lamp shirt, Cindy. Hi, Cindy. Did she just come in? You guys are sneaking in here. So yeah, and also just like the palette is so great. Like it just the way it pops, especially in this outdoor scene against the green. I mean, and then also against the sort of the neutral brown colors of the basement. I had a boyfriend in high school. It was very short lived because because they're going to think I'm so shallow. Well, I wasn't crazy about his clothes when we were dating. But then he invited me over to his house, like, and he had a basement like this, but his bedroom was in the basement and it was all brown, like a brown bedspread, like chenille bedspread. And he was a big fan of the Cleveland Browns. So I was just like, ugh, like I had to just like get me out of here. And the only thing I liked about him is that he had hair like what's his name? Like Billy. He had hair like Billy. That was the only thing that got me grooving on him.
You had a thing for mullets?
Yeah, he had like rocker kind of hair. And I really dug it. And then while we were dating, he cut it. He cut it short. And then I just was like, okay, you have a brown bedroom. No, it wasn't feathered. It was actually like curly. It was curly, like, yeah, he had Bon Jovi hair. So then he cut it, and then he had a brown bedroom, and I'm like, okay, I got to break up with you. Yes.
Oh,
I was super shallow.
Scully says, listening to you will help me describe better the clothes my characters will wear. I get this value from you. Aww.
Oh, what do you get? Which characters are you writing a book, Scully?
That'd be so cool.
Are you writing a book, Scully? Tell me. I'm really glad to hear that. So, this is just an outtake. Again, like look at Eleven's jeans that she's wearing. They're sort of like, again, very high-waisted, lots of pleats in the front, which, I don't even know if they have pleated jeans now, do they?
Actually, this type of shirt, I think it went all the way into the 90s, didn't it? Like the big shirts.
Yeah, it's kind of got dolman sleeves, though.
Maybe not the colors, but like the style of shirt, it kind of went into the 90s a bit, at least the early 90s,
mm-hmm.
if I remember TV shows from that era.
Yeah. Oh, that car, though, says 30 days.
That's so cool.
That's awesome, Scully.
Yep.
Now, okay, so now we're going to get into... this is Lucas's little sister. Was she just not awesome in this?
Oh, she was an MVP, definitely. Like, she's
so cute.
She has an entrepreneurial spirit.
Now, and then this is really good. Of course, they put them in ice cream colors. And younger kids used to wear sort of these really like Oshkosh Bigosh kind of colors.
Yeah.
And, Benetton, United Colors of Benetton, that type of thing, like really rainbow colors. Almost like, obnoxiously so. Yeah. Oh, Angel over Balky, you mean like batik? Is that what you mean? She's saying Balky. I'm not sure what that means, if she means batik. There's not America without Erica.
Chorito.
Best spot in the station wagon was the trunk. Oh, and of course, this little girl, what was her name?
Lucy,
I don't have her name. Lucy? Isn't she adorable?
Oh, she was
the
best. Like, her little cameo was, again, the best.
Yeah.
And I love her nightgown.
I love her nightgown, and I love her glasses. I had glasses like these when I was her age. And she has pearl earrings. Like, she has white earrings, but they're pearls, so those are classic. Those are timeless. You can wear pearls anytime. But the little ribbons and everything, and she's got little
Susie,
scrunchies.
that was her name. I was close. It's Susie.
Oh, Susie.
Yeah, I thought it was Lucy. It rhymes.
Oh, Balky from Perfect Strangers. Yes. Sorry. Okay, so so we've done the kids. We're gonna move into season 2. So we're gonna kind of do season 3, season 2. So this is 11 in season 2, and it's a different costume designer who actually is the costume designer on Mr. Robot, which is a really great show if anybody hasn't seen it.
I've been interested in seeing it. I'm not sure if I should.
I love it. It's Rami Malek is the star.
Well, yeah. In interviews he said that he got the role of Freddie Mercury because of Mr. Robot.
Oh yeah, he's brilliant. He's brilliant, and the costumes in it are really, really good. So here this is where she's wearing a lot of Hopper's stuff. It's just awful. Like, you feel really bad for her. Like, look at her. Yeah. He's like, here, He's gone to he's gone to Goodwill or whatever and picked stuff up for her. Or he's given her stuff. So a lot of it's oversized.
Oversized, baggy.
And then, yeah, and then her hair's just sort of growing in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly,
Hex Dogmasis.
I won't lie. When I first saw her in season 1, I thought she was
You thought what?
I thought she was a boy.
Yeah, no, I did too. Hey, Hacks, by the way, I wanted to ask you, so we're using this thing called StreamYard. What are you using now for streaming now that Google Hangouts is gone? Just wondering what you're using, what you think of this platform. That wig. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess it's a wig. Well, she did really shave her hair in real life, which apparently she was horrified that she had to do that when she found out that she had to shave her head.
Yeah.
I actually, okay, I'm going to do a dig, but I think this is a better wig. If this is a wig, I think this is a better wig than Cersei's wig.
Oh, definitely. It's like, can you like take that wig and
yeah, I'm still fighting people in the comments section about that wig.
you're still talking about that wig. That wig, it traumatized you.
Yeah. By the way, I wanted to do a shout out to Hacks, who he's got a new book out. And Hacks, if you want, put a link in the description for that. It is called Cyclic, I believe is how you say it. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And it's science fiction, and he just launched that like this month. So congratulations to that. He just had his big launch.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick up a copy. I'm going to pick up a copy of it. Hi, Caligula. I just wish they let Cersei's hair grow. Yes, me too. Instead of keeping it short forever. Well, I got some major fights about that. So this is, then 11's hair is growing out a bit here. Really cute though when it starts to grow out. It's really weird. I saw a couple of pictures of Millie Bobby Brown, who plays 11, just in some of the red carpets, and there's a few times where I was like, oh my god, she looks like she's in her 20s.
Yeah, she has a very mature looking face.
She does. Right. And then when they put makeup on her, she just looks so much older. So here she is here. And then we get into her. Yeah, her hair is gorgeous.
It'll just make me sing.
What's that, darling?
Oh, the curly hair just makes me sing.
Oh, it's amazing.
So pretty. I love it.
And then here she is doing her, I don't know, it's kind of like Blade Runner look here. This is sort of her.
Oh, yeah, her punk look.
Her punk look.
Yeah.
Caligula is saying, that's not a 13-year-old boy? Is that are you joking? Oh, it's Stranger Things. Yes, it's a girl. Whoa. But I think the idea with 11 is she's supposed to kind of look androgynous, like from season 1. When we first discover her, she's supposed to look like, she's been living in a lab. Oh, my pleasure. So, Hacks, put it in the description and I'll approve it, and then put a link. No, I'm not joking. I don't watch that. Well, that's okay, Caligula. Yeah, so this is Stranger Things that we're covering. We're talking about season 2 and 3. This is 11. She's like the main character, one of the main characters. It's an ensemble piece. She's grown up in a lab by an evil doctor who has done experiments on her. And so she starts off at, yeah. Sort of, she's sort of a little bit like, if anybody's ever seen Firestarter, the Drew Barrymore character in Firestarter, that's sort of what it's loosely based on.
Or Carrie, yeah,
absolutely. Carrie's born with that ability, I believe. Yeah. Whereas in Firestarter, she, I think, also was born with that ability. But that sort of evil scientist thing in the 80s was really, really big, right? Like sort of like an E.T.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Caligula, how can you not feel nostalgic about the 80s?
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't know. I'm a 90s baby, so.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I did a play where we had these guys dress up like the 80s because we had there's a guy in Canada named Alan Frew. He's like in a band, and he was in the play, and so one of the guys was saying the 80s sucked, and I almost punched him out because I was just like, "What are you talking about?"
Wow. Damn.
Race to Witch Mountain. That was a good movie.
Oh, Caligula was born in 86.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's why.
You didn't experience the 80s.
Yes, you didn't experience the 80s. Fake 80s isn't bad. Gucci vibes. Yeah. So there's 11. I don't have any pictures of the punk people as much. Maybe I do, but what did you think of this whole, this was, if anybody saw season 2, this was sort of, a standalone episode, like her little adventure to discover herself.
It was actually supposed to be a backdoor pilot for 8 because they were thinking of doing a spin-off with 8, the sister.
Oh, okay.
And her in wherever the hell they were.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so standalone and there's really anything with the rest of the cast. But nobody liked it.
Oh, okay.
Because people did not like it very much. So
yeah.
That idea is
okay, I can't hear you, my dear.
Oh, you can't hear me again?
Oh, no, I can. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. I think as you settle in, maybe you kind of like. There you go. Yeah. I can hear you, and you look beautiful. And Tatiana, if anybody hasn't here, I'm going to put it on you. I don't know how to just put it on you though. Tatiana's all full out 80s. Look at her. Yeah.
I tried.
She's got 80s eye makeup. Take off your glasses for a second so that everyone can see your eye makeup. Look at this. Isn't it beautiful? Blue eyeshadow.
Blue and pink and yellow.
Now, when did you do your hair like that though, with the highlights?
This is super old. Like,
is it?
Years ago. Like, this is not ombre. It's just really old. It used to be like up here, and now it's just up there.
Yeah. Oh, here I have it on. Here I have to go back. There we go. Okay, so this is so fun. The Ghostbusters outfits. It started off. So what happened in season 2 is it starts at Halloween, whereas this past season starts in the summer. So we have a bit of a different timeline going on. So the costume designer, whose name was Kim Wilcox, she's the designer from Mr. Robot as well. She said, we thought about whose costume would be more together and whose would be less, and whose mom maybe made it from scratch and whose mom didn't. So, for instance, she's saying that Will's mom, for instance, who doesn't have as much money, would he's not in this picture, sorry, would have made his from scratch. So it's not going to be as nice, perhaps.
30 days have to go. Bye, 30 days.
Bye, 30 days. Thank you so much. I have to go a fire meeting. Have a great rest of your stream. Thank you so much. 30 days is a firefighter. I think you're a volunteer firefighter, aren't you? And he also has his own YouTube channel. He is a wonderful creator. So if anyone wants to check him out, and he is a really lovely person as well.
Oh, and thanks, 30 Days and Goddess. I was really trying to channel Heathers in my outfit. Nice to know that across.
Yeah, so that's what's going on here. But that was kind of a fun thing, right, for them to do that. Now, I just watched the new Ghostbusters movie with the girls, and it was really weird because it got really panned, and I was expecting it to be awful. And actually, I didn't find it that bad. I thought it was all right. It was all right.
I had fun watching it. Is it amazing? No.
No.
Of course, but I was fine with it.
Yeah, and like Chris Hemsworth playing like a total dingbat was just really funny.
I mean, Chris Hemsworth can just stand there without a shirt and look pretty for like an hour and a half, and I'd be totally okay with it.
Yeah.
Just watching him stand there.
Tatiana, that's sexist.
Well, hey, that equal identification. That is equality right there. If you can object women, you can object men. It's a thing.
Yeah. So there's they are in their little outfits, and then there's Max. This is season 2 with Max. Yeah. She's got, her hair is like fire. She's like kind of what maybe Sansa might have looked like, when she was younger. Yeah. We know what Sansa looked like when she was younger, but
yeah. But
the hair.
This is when she will be like 12.
If Sansa was in the 80s, this is what 80s Sansa would look like. Yeah, so there she is. She's really cute. So lots of, it's funny because one of the rules we used to have in the 80s is that if you had red hair, you couldn't wear pink or red. So, but whereas these colors, these sort of burnt orange kind of colors or green were really, really good colors to wear. Yeah, she's got amazing hair.
And yet Molly Ringwald broke all boundaries.
Yeah, that's why it was like really groundbreaking.
Yeah,
It's true. It could be any decade. That hair. Her hair is very classic. It's classic,
I love it.
and it's kind of unkempt because she's a tomboy. So and she's sort of dressing a little bit more. This is why we see a bit more progression.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Molly Ringwald is definitely a muse for the show. Look at the size of this phone. That's massive.
Wait, that's a phone. I thought it was a walkie-talkie.
Oh, maybe it is a walkie-talkie. Sorry, you know what? I just watched Glow and he's on the phone and he had a phone this size, like a cell phone. It was really, really
Yeah,
big. No, you're right. It is a walkie-talkie.
I call it the brick phone.
So she says about the boys in, did she talk about them here? The kids. I don't think I have anything about the boys in, no. Okay, we'll get to them after. So there's more. You can see the real change between Will. Like, look how young Will looks here compared to season 2.
Or it's season 3. Yeah.
This is season 2 here. This picture is season 2.
Yeah, and they grew up a lot.
They grew up a lot. Oh, yeah. Between season 2 and season 3. I actually really like this sweater that Mike's wearing here. I love this sweater. It's kind of like that, like they call alpine sweater, Icelandic sweater, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
I also like Will's plaid shirt.
Yes, I do too. They wore a lot of that sort of like, I think a lot of these are like supposed to be like Levi plaid. They did a lot of like they did a huge amount of plaid shirts back then. It could even be like some of the knockoffs like Kmart and stuff would do this. And Joyce is still wearing this. She's still wearing this coat here. You know, that corduroy coat. Oh my God. Fair Isle. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah,
There he is again. Oh, it's so nice. I love that sweater. That's really nice.
It is really. I just love the detail, really.
Yeah, it's really nice. Mm-hmm.
And again, he looks like his dad.
He does look like his dad, yeah. And then we have Lucas and Max. Yeah, Roseanne, that's a good comparison. Look how long it's taken for people to let go of those stupid skinny jeans. They still wear them, and it's been over a decade now.
Oh, they still wear them now.
Yeah.
They just call it, instead of skinny jeans, they call it cigarette jeans. But it's the same thing.
Cigarette?
Yeah, they call it the cigarette jeans.
Oh, okay. This is a great picture actually here, because this sort of reminds me of a lot of the 80s movies like Goonies and stuff. Like they always did that sort of like everyone's looking down at something, at an object.
Yeah.
More, and there's Dustin's hat, the other hat that he was wearing, and there's a science teacher in behind there with a sweater vest.
It's interesting because I don't know if this is really what it is or not, but the fact that he's wearing a different hat in season 3,
Yeah.
maybe is tells me of like his growing maturity. Even though he and Will are probably like the ones that are growing up the slowest,
Mm-hmm.
he's still very much Dustin in season 3. He's still very much that nerdy, goofy boy that we saw in season 1. But considering that he now has a girlfriend and he's taking more of a leadership role in many ways, like the fact that they changed his iconic red, white, and blue hat towards this other one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then then Lucas is like this jacket here. I sort of talked about that in the video I did on Stranger Things. I think he might have worn this in season 1 as well. It's got that Sherpa collar, which is like really, really 80s, that sort of collar there.
Yeah.
And I think it's Levi's. And then Dustin's wearing purple, which, you know, again, you rarely see boys wear that color. And with a red, white, and blue hat.
Basically.
Mm-hmm. There's another one. So this is funny. So he's got like the periodic table on his shirt.
Like if you
super nerdy.
Your doubts have been assuaged.
I don't know if this is at the. I don't know is this when they're looking at the his thing? Where are they here? I don't know where they are. Are they at the arcade?
Yeah, they're in their cave playing Dig Dug.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
They made Max.
Yeah. And there is Will.
Who
See, his
really
hair doesn't look as bad here to me. It's kind of
Yeah.
like a bowl cut, but it's not as bowlish looking as that other haircut.
as Mike.
It's Mike, yeah. Look, and then of course this is Lucas's sister again. So she's not as ice cream colors here. But look at her bedroom. I love it. This is the bedroom that 11 should have had.
I think I had that bedroom.
I love it. I love it. I had a yellow bedroom as well. And then the white furniture in the background here, like this thing here, my parents bought a set from, I can't remember what they got it, but we got like the dresser and we got the end tables and the lamps and everything because my sister and I shared a room.
Yeah.
And then this would have been like the type of thing your grandmother would have made, this little Afghan thing. And then
Oh yeah, like but that bed, I had that bed.
Did it have a canopy?
It did not have a canopy, but my sister and I, we would tie like sheets to the poles and make a canopy.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
And she's got her stuffed animals. Like I had a ton of stuffed animals I'd always have on my bed, even into my teens. And then here she is with a walkie-talkie, not a cell phone. Looking so cute. And then here she is. These are sort of like pajamas that we used to wear when we were really young. Remember? Like they'd almost be like polyester or something.
Yeah.
Floral. Really cute.
You still see that around.
You do. Like for little kids, you still see it. It's kind of timeless.
Basically.
Oh, Caligula said I had a weird pirate ship inspired bed. That's very cool.
Love it.
John says his wife's was a canopy when she was in high school. You mean, John? I think they've been to. John's been with his wife since I think since high school. Poly blend, exactly, Caligula.
Oh, Dorish Wine says I had a white metal daybed with the gold spangles. I think my mom had that.
Yeah, a daybed. Yeah, daybeds are really big. Okay, so here we are at the prom.
Oh.
If anybody, here, let me just go back and show this to everybody in case you didn't see this when we first started the stream. So here's Tatiana's design of Mike and 11's prom outfit. So she sort of came up with this idea after season 2 aired, and then we can look at what they actually did wear. Here, let's go back to the prom. So apparently when the Duffer Brothers were doing the show, they had it in their mind that they were going to do this prom. Like they knew the season would end with this sort of prom. It's sort of like Carrie again. You have that big, Under the Stars, or I think again, that's probably a homage to Back to the Future, that type of thing, having the big prom.
Yeah.
Whatever's on the redheaded girl. Sorry, what's she saying? Good color scheme. Yeah.
Thanks,
And
Vanessa.
so here is, this is funny because Dustin's hair, in those days, they didn't know how to deal with hair like that. So, they would use gel or they would use spray to deal with it. And like my son, it's funny because Leland, my oldest son, is starting to kind of look like Justin a little bit in terms of the hair. And I said to him, "Oh, you should go as Dustin for Halloween. I could do the costume for you." He's like, "No," but he does. He has kind of hair like that. So what we kind of have to do is get it like thinned out when we get it cut. So here it's like it hasn't been thinned out. He's just sort of like slicked it at the sides and used the hairspray or mousse.
Yeah, like Farrah Fawcett spray that.
Exactly. That Steve recommended.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vanessa says Dustin was my favorite and Nancy when they started dancing together. I know. So there's 11.
Oh, okay. Funny story. When I was because I first came up with the idea of doing like a dress for 11 at the Winter Formal.
Yep.
Before I saw this episode.
Oh, okay.
And my initial idea was literally this dress. Before ever seeing this episode, I was thinking about doing this type of dress for Elle.
Oh, really?
But then I saw the episode, and I was like, "Damn it! They beat me to it." I had to do it different.
It's kind of a prairie style with the flounces.
Yeah,
and then a little bit of gathers on the shoulders.
Oh, Imelda Marcos vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Mike's I think he's wearing corduroy, maybe, or like ultra suede.
That's
yeah.
corduroy, definitely.
Yeah, or or like a very fine corduroy with the And then he's wearing a sweater underneath it, which is so nerdy. I think this is an outtake, by the way. I just love Dustin's suit here, though. Isn't that great?
Oh,
that plaid.
Probably my favorite of the boys' suit.
Caligula, how do you know who Jessica McClintock is if you were born in the 90s? Like, seriously, how do you even know that? Or Imelda Marcos? How do you even know these people?
I don't know. Maybe he researched them?
Yeah. That L dress, I kind of want it. Yeah, it's pretty cute, hey? I think you could wear this now, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
It's got that little leather belt. I think it's leather, or sometimes they would use, like, leather, pleather, or the other thing that was really big was, like, that woven, grass cloth or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Straw.
Yeah.
It's very cute. I totally think you could wear that nowadays, for sure.
Honestly, I wish I could have seen like Max's dress better because it's dark, so you can't see it.
I know. I can barely see it. It looks almost kind of like it's got a bit of is it velvet?
I think. But it just really looks so good against her hair. But I can't see how it looks.
She totally could be Sansa. Look at her. She looks, or she could be in Lord of the Rings.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just see,
she could be
like 10 years from now, where they do like the Game of Thrones remake.
Yeah. That's funny. You think they're going to?
Well, if Martin ever finishes the freaking book, ever.
Oh, Caligula said, I bought a whole crate of Jessica McClintock prairie dresses. Oh my God. I used to work in a bridal store when I was in college, and we sold Jessica McClintock bridesmaids dresses. They were so awful. And wedding gowns. But she was like sort of like the more casual designer. Like if you wanted to get married in a more casual wedding gown, that's what you would wear. Okay, so let's go on to the adults. This is season 2. Now were you how excited was everybody when they saw Carrie Elwes in this? Anybody who's watched the show?
I might have screamed a bit. At first I was like, wait, is that Carrie Elwes? No, that's him though, isn't it? Oh my God, it's Carrie Elwes, Princess Bride flashback.
Oh, Goddess says that her kitten that she's named Miss Marvel keeps attacking the screen. Why is it because of me? I can take myself out of the screen.
No, it just because the pictures change.
Is it because the pictures are moving? Is that why she's attacking? That's so cute. Yeah. Jack, my husband, said that he thought that Carrie looked pretty good. Like he's looking pretty good because he's in his I think he's in his 60s.
He aged surprisingly well.
He looks great. Both him and Robin Wright Penn, right?
Yeah.
She does it whenever the slide changes. That's so cute. I love it. So he's sort of like smarmy. He's really smarmy, but he's wearing suspenders.
He is the picture of a mayor.
But look at those sunglasses. Those are awesome. I love those sunglasses.
They're so tacky, and I love it.
They are. And then he's got he's got his nose. He's got one of those bandages on his nose.
Yeah, because...
I think he's had a bit of... I think you're right. I think he's had a bit of a facelift, but it is a good facelift.
Yeah.
And then we have Hopper. Hopper! He's eating Honey Smacks. Is this even like a product, guys? Honey Smacks?
I don't even know.
It says Kellogg's on it. I don't remember them.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's in his uniform with his Henley underneath it. And I just watched Hellboy again. Got terrible reviews, but again, I didn't really think it was that bad. I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was amazing.
I kind of love Guillermo del Toro's version so much, but I kind of.
What's that, honey?
Yeah, I saw Guillermo del Toro's version of Hellboy, and I love it that much. But I kind of don't watch the other.
Oh well, yeah, and his version was amazing.
Yeah. And
it's Ron Perlman, which my husband was like, yeah, they didn't really have to do too much makeup with Ron Perlman because he's sort of already a little bit odd looking.
They just painted him red and
whereas
circles on his head.
Yeah. But anyway, so this is what the costume designer said about this outfit. Let me just tell you quickly.
Oh yeah,
She says about Hopper's shirt. Isn't that a great shirt?
Yes.
She said the main inspiration was Magnum PI. Of course. I found a great image of Tom Selleck in the iconic moment of Magnum in the Hawaiian shirt, the light denim Wrangler jeans, a canvas belt, and topsider shoes. But later, Hopper, he loses the topsiders and puts on his work boots that he likes and wears them through the rest of the season. She said David liked the idea of being able to roll the sleeves up in the shirt, so just so it's a little bit more 80s feeling. And they had to make 5 multiples of the shirt. And how they made it was they purchased 20 yards of vintage fabric, and then each shirt was custom printed in the exact same way so that they could have the same pattern. And then for this scene here where he's waiting to have dinner, they added this jacket. But it was just like, yeah, here he is. The thing is like, of course, the Magnum PI is like, he's pretty slim and good shape, but whereas he's like, a little bit, you got a man bod, a dad bod, right? These kind of reminded me, I don't know, it looks like abstract, but it kind of looks a bit like flamingos or something.
Yeah, no, those are flamingos.
Are they like kind of abstract flamingos?
I can see like the feet and the beak, and with palms.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a flamingo. It's definitely a flamingo shirt with palms.
Yeah. Yeah, Don Johnson. Don Johnson inspired.
Like, I just absolutely love the shirt. It's so not him.
No, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And it's like he's trying so hard. Oh, my poor baby's trying so hard to impress Joyce, and it's like, oh honey.
And he took the bottle of wine with him. He took the bottle of Chianti home with him, which you're totally not allowed to do that. The mustache definitely makes me think of Tom Selleck. Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely. He's Tom Selleck reincarnated. Yeah,
and then so there, and of course, but she's she's sort of like she's sort of what do you call it, mourning for Bob. She's still not maybe completely sure.
And that's the thing. That's the thing between those two. Is like you're not giving her the space that she needs to mourn, because it might have been months after his death, but she obviously loved him, and if he had lived, they would have been married by now, probably most likely. So it hurts, and it's not a hurt that just goes away in a few months, but he's not letting her mourn, because I think you could probably do the guess that wouldn't be the first time or the second time or the third that he's trying to like ask her out on a date. So basically he's just, yes, Caligula, that's why I'm a writer. He's trying to like supplant or substitute himself for Bob in a way, and it's not working. So,
see, it's kind of like it is a flamingo, but it's just like an abstract flamingo. Which was kind of big in the 80s. Like, I'm thinking of like, the cover of Duran Duran. There's a famous artist who did the cover for Duran Duran's album, and it had that sort of aesthetic, that sort of abstract style. And then it's sort of funny because then she's just wearing, again, she's just sort of wearing like, it looks like she's wearing her son's clothes. What's his name?
Will?
No, the older one. Yeah, it looks like Jonathan. It looks like she's just wearing some of Jonathan's clothes. Like, look here. Like she's just wearing a ringer tee and then a plaid shirt sort of tied around her waist. She's just about comfort.
Yeah, she's the most practical of all the moms.
Oh yeah, Caligula, Dacre Montgomery is in the show. He is definitely in the show. Oh yeah.
So cute.
He is, by the way, I found out that he's part Canadian, and I was so excited because he was saying how lovely people are from Australia and then Canada, and then he happens to be part Canadian. So I was very, very happy about that on his mom's side.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. I love him. He's really, by the way, he's very, very, if you've seen him in any interviews or any of the videos that he's done, he's very smart.
Oh, he's he's just adorable. And
Caligula, you dated a guy who looked like Dacre Montgomery? Wow. Okay.
I hate you now, but
Yeah. I dated a guy back in the 80s, and this was a big deal. I dated a guy back in the 80s, very short-lived, who looked like Val Kilmer from when he was in Top Gun. And I remember I was like, and he thought I looked like Molly Ringwald. So we were kind of like really into each other. So, but yeah, he was way above me. Like he was way out of my league. But I was like, I didn't care. I was like, if he wants to go out with me, that's fine.
You can enjoy it while you can.
Yeah. Hey, Middle Earth, how are you doing?
Hi, Middle-earth.
So here's Winona Ryder. This is a really funny scene. Well, it's kind of serious but funny at the same time, where they're dressing up like the Russians. And of course, the Russian sort of trope is like, huge 80s stereotype type thing. Again, here we have
all the military.
The military, yeah. And this guy here, right? Who is in the show Love as well, if anybody's seen it. Oh my God, this guy. I love him. Val Kilmer was super hot in the 80s.
Oh, he was. He definitely was. He got crazy. He got crazy because he was. Yeah, but
he's really good in the Jim Morrison movie, the biopic.
Oh, is he? I didn't know. Is he?
Yeah. He plays Jim Morrison in the Jim Morrison biopic and I think Meg Ryan's in it. It's from like probably the 80s. Middle Earth's doing really well. It's really nice to see you. I hope your script is going well. Sorry, It's tedious. So I don't know what this guy's name is. Do you know what his name is?
Oh, I forgot his name, but it's not coming.
It's so great though. Like his son, like the whole look is amazing.
But he's probably one of my favorites because he just speaks the truth. He don't give no bullschnitzel anything. He's amazing.
Yeah, and so this is a really not politically correct term, but he's wearing a wife beater.
I don't like. I prefer calling it tank top. I don't like calling it.
The proper name for it is singlet.
That too. I'm okay with that. Let's call it singlet.
And then he's got his hair it's kind of greasy looking, like sort of slick back, greasy looking a bit.
The remnant of the 70s.
Yeah, totally. Like he looks like he'd work on a porn set or something.
A porn actor. That's
Porn actor. Yeah. And this is here with the shirt on top of it, which was this stuff here. Like this was a big thing. It was kind of like fleecy, but then there's mesh bits within it. Like it's so good.
So
like it was like leisure, like a leisure type leisure clothes. Hi, Catherine.
Oh, hi, Catherine.
Okay. Oh, and this one is so good. So
I love that.
Yeah. I don't know who this actor is, but he was amazing. But this has sort of got the mad scientist kind of like head doctor, that old fashioned.
You know what it gave me, like those 1920s silent movie seconds, like Metropolis kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
It was like, I am here for it. I am definitely here for it.
Yeah,
I love it. Or you know what? You know what? It also gave me. It gave me. Oh God. Little House of Horrors. Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to know what the inspiration behind this was. I think again, like they Brazil, Angel over saying, yeah, it definitely like it's supposed to be like a torture scene, so it is kind of Brazil. Have you seen that movie? It's Terry Gilliam. Oh my God, Tatiana, you have to see it. And then this guy, another rush, but what about him? Oh, I love him. And the Slurpee. The Slurpee is a star in itself. And he's got stains all over him.
I hurt with Alexi.
I know.
The thing that I love about this show is like they can introduce one character for a couple episodes, make you love him, and then
yeah, it's kind of like Game of Thrones in that way.
Just take him out. It's like, oh, you bastards, Like first Bob and now Alexi. How dare you?
Yeah, was his name again Alexi? And those glasses, though. I went to high school with guys who wore glasses like that.
I think my grandfather still has those glasses. My grandfather still wears those glasses.
Yeah, well, the shirt is really dirty because they've been beating him up.
Yeah, he's.
But I think he's already on his third Slurpee.
Probably.
Now, because I lived in Winnipeg, like 7-Eleven was a huge place we would go hang out in. Like we would all like kind of go and hang out at the 7-Eleven, and Slurpees were cheap. Like, so if you didn't have a lot of money, it'd be a place you could just go. And then on top of that, I didn't do this at that point, but you could put alcohol in it as well. And you couldn't taste it because the Slurpee would be so sweet.
You naughty girl.
And then this 7-Eleven. Now, I don't remember this, but I guess the staff at 7-Eleven did wear 7-Eleven shirts. This is hilarious. So funny.
Had like 7-Eleven hats, like caps, like.
I don't know if they did at 7-Eleven. Some places did.
I remember.
McDonald's we did. McDonald's we had to wear hats, I think.
Oh yeah, McDonald's and basically any fast food that I can remember. At least hats.
Well, Lexi likes cherry Slurpees, I think, not strawberry. Isn't that what he said?
He likes strawberry, not
strawberry, not cherry. Yeah, he likes strawberry, not cherry. So when you used to go to 7-Eleven, they'd have like 20 different flavors. I'd always get a mixture though. I get like Sprite mixed with a berry sometimes. Like someone said, Coke Slurpees are gross.
Yeah.
So
I still like the Coca-Cola Slurpees more than the cherry ones.
Oh, okay.
I'll be honest.
Dornish Wench says Hector Lavoe, so I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is, Tatiana?
Hector Lavoe. Oh yes, he's Puerto Rican. He's a Puerto Rican.
Oh, is he? Oh, no way.
Yeah, he was a Puerto Rican salsa singer, performer.
By the way, I was going to tell you, I was listening to the radio the other day, and there's this song called, I have to ask my son. He keeps singing it. Like, he's always singing it. And it's by a Puerto Rican singer. It's a pop song. Do you know what it is?
Well, if you give me the name, I might know.
It's one word like, it's not divorcee, but it's like...
Despacito?
Despacito, yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, my son loves that song, but then I'm listening to the radio the other day, and Justin Timberlake did a duet with him. And I was like, oh my God, this is so nice, because Justin Timberlake is Canadian, and then he's Puerto Rican. So I was thinking, this is so great, the two, you and I. That could be our song. That could be our song, Despacito. But my son is constantly going on about that song, and he made me watch the video, and I'm like, what's that?
It's Justin Bieber, not Timberlake.
Oh, sorry, Justin Bieber. Yes, he's Canadian. Justin Timberlake is not Canadian. Yeah, sorry. Although we always make jokes that we don't want necessarily to have Justin Bieber be ours. Like, we always try to give him back to the United States. So you can have Justin Bieber, but we want. Yeah, we always try to take back Ryan Gosling and Ryan Reynolds, though, because they're ours as well. But I just thought that was really cute.
But yeah, Hector Lavoe was a salsa singer, very popular in the 80s. Like,
okay.
One of the most essential songs.
What did he sing?
Yo soy el cantante. Y yo te hago. It was salsa. You know salsa?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I used to go salsa dancing in the 80s. It was really big. We used to have salsa clubs in Toronto. And so I'd go...
You probably heard his songs in the clubs at that time. He was pretty big. And did not have an easy life at all, but he was pretty big.
Oh, Middle Earth, I have no idea. Like, I'm just totally... I'm like, my kid, it kept going on about this song, and... he's like, Mom, you have to watch this video, and it's got like millions of views. And I'm like, okay, I have no idea. I don't know anything about pop music. I just know, I know very little. Yes, Catherine, I am Canadian. I'm from Toronto.
Yay.
Yay, proudly Canadian. And Tatiana is proudly Puerto Rican.
Always and always.
Yeah. Now, what about Mom? Whoa. Mom?
Her costumes, every single one.
Holy cow.
Her hair was everything.
It was amazing. She probably had a banana clip.
Realness.
And the makeup was so good too.
Girl. Of course.
So there's all the moms waiting for Billy to come out, make his appearance. And I guess this is what moms did in the 80s, maybe? I don't remember this being a thing, but moms would go to the pool with their kids, their younger children in the summer and hang out.
Curve out and just look at hot guys because they can't have them. Yes, sure.
Yeah. And she's wearing like sort of the two color bathing suit. Yeah, she's my favorite mom. Well, when you see the dad, you're like, oh my God. And she has quite the transformation from season 1 to season 3, right? Because she...
Yeah, because she had mostly like the Farrah Fawcett hair.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly.
Not my mom, says John. Yeah, not my mom either. My mom... so let's go to the adults. So we got Joyce. Oh, sorry, I'm on adults. Sorry, this is season 2 adults. Okay, so this is Joyce from season 2. See, this is what she looked like back in season 2. Still really beautiful. This is her answering the door when Billy comes. She's like, "Oh my, who are you?"
Oh, hot.
Oh, I do declare.
Who's not really legal, but you know.
Yeah, and he's like, "Hello, ma'am," and then she's on the phone having a glass of wine. That's totally my mom. My mom would be on the phone with a cocktail, and then there's Dad in the background. Like, look at him, seriously. I mean, that actor does a really great job, though.
Of being like the most boring human being in the prison.
Yeah, exactly, because she's stunning. Her name is Cara Buono. Caligula says her eyebrows are too nice for the 80s. Yeah, you're right on that. Yeah, they look like they've been what do you call them, threaded or something, or waxed. She looked at Billy like she was ready to pull a saddle out of the barn. That's awesome. Did you see the workout video they released with Cara on Twitter? No, I'll have to watch it. Well, it's funny because I just finished watching Glow, and it's just like this is one video they do in the show, and it's like the 20-minute workout or something. It's so funny.
Yeah.
So there she is, yeah. And then there's Joyce and Bob, and there's Joyce wearing her corduroy jacket. Like, I swear, I don't know where they got this jacket from.
I think she got that from the 70s.
Like, it is from the 70s, yeah. Some of the clothes they wear are kind of 70s because, again, this is supposed to be 84 in season 2, I believe. So it might have been something she's just had for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. Caligula. Tatiana is very excited about Catherine the Great. Aren't you, Tatiana?
Oh, yes. Like, yes, I am here for it. I'm just here for Helen Mirren because Helen Mirren is an absolute freaking fabulous goddess. So I will worship at her altar.
Now, and Sean Astin, it's great that Sean Astin is in this because, of course, he was in Goonies and he's Lord of the Rings and everybody. And so it's funny because some of the early storyboards that they had as inspiration for this, Sean Astin was in some of the, not storyboards, but mood boards. Sean Astin was actually in them. And if anybody doesn't know, Patty Duke Astin is his mother. She was like Patty Duke from the 60s, I believe. Cool. So that was his mom. He had a famous mom.
I love him and I miss him. And it's like, he's so better.
And then she's wearing like kind of one of those, like sort of one of those prairie blouses.
Yeah, those are so
really pretty. I would totally wear that now.
Yeah, me too. Like with like a long necklace, definitely.
Yeah, it's really pretty. And I like the colors. And then there she is with Hopper. Hopper's just wearing his uniform. And she's wearing this really heavy cardigan. Like everything she wears is just super sensible, right? There's no, you know.
I want her, I at least just one scene with her looking like beautiful and like in a pretty dress. If you can get her into like a nice pretty dress and like a nice hairstyle, I would be so happy.
Yeah, I'm feeling, well, I don't know how they'll end it, but maybe her and Hopper will get married and she'll be wearing a wedding dress.
Oh my God.
Of course, last time I said that about Game of Thrones, nothing like that happened, so.
Yeah.
Yes, Helen Mirren and Caligula. You know, I actually snuck into Caligula because it was an R-rated movie. No, I didn't sneak in, but I paid for it, but we pretended we somehow got away. They thought we were of age. You had to be 18 to see that movie. We got in, though. And, yeah, and she was also in Excalibur.
Oh, yeah, she was Morgana.
Yeah.
Morgana Le Fay. Love.
So
she was great. She was great in Miss Excalibur.
So, and then he's wearing, again, like this might even be like issued to him. This might even be a,
a jacket.
A cop's jacket, exactly. With the fur collar, which usually was detachable, heavy zipper. It's kind of like light down filled or something, but really like, not a sheriff's jacket. Exactly. Thank you. And then he's
And
wearing another one here.
that they're more or less like him and 11 are wearing more or less the same jacket, and they kind of cute with that together.
They do look cute together. You know what I was noticing? His hair in season 2 looks more like clean cut, like slick back and combed. Whereas here, I'm going to go back to find a picture from season.
Yeah, he's more.
His hair looks like longer here, don't you think? Kind of messier and longer.
Yeah.
Like not as. So I'm not sure what the purpose behind that was. Maybe because he's busy with 11, like raising 11, and he's trying to police her and her, her boyfriend and everything. He's too busy to. Okay, here's this guy. I love this guy so much. Oh my god! Yeah. And this coat. So this is sort of like your typical trench coat in the 80s, like
an army coat, like a pseudo army coat.
I think this one's. I think it's a trench, like a navy trench, because they would do them all kinds of different colors. Do you think, or was it short? I thought it was a trench coat.
Remember, I might be.
And then the glasses, have a little bit of tint to them. And then he's got the comb over. He's attempting to do a bit of a comb over, which of course he doesn't.
My grandfather, right there. It's like I'm seeing a younger version of my grandfather.
I love it. I love this actor, though. He's just a brilliant actor. He really is. Middler says, speaking of Hopper, obviously he's probably still alive, but I don't really want him to see him return because I feel that would ruin his touching letter he wrote to 11. Aww. Well, I think
I'm conflicted because I cried. I literally cried when I heard his voice over saying that letter, and it just broke me. And it's like, I don't want him to be alive, but I want him to be alive because I love him, but I don't want him to. It's a mess. It's
yeah. So Angel Over says it is a trench. So yeah. So they did them in all kinds of different colors, and women wear them too. And Burberry would make them or Scoot them. Yeah. Can't remember the name of the brand.
Catherine, I was born in 93, so I have even less of a right to say what happened in the 80s. Because she says I was born in 91, so I have no say in what really happened in the 80s. Like, girl, I'm a 93.
Okay, I remember these. This is like a bathrobe, but they would make them out of like velour or something, like really tacky polyester.
Yeah.
And so, which was weird because it wouldn't really be any good when you got out of the shower because it wouldn't absorb anything as opposed to terry towels. So I think it would have just been like a lounging type robe. Members only. Yeah, members only would have been the shorter jacket, which we're going to see on Steve. And then here he is wearing it here too. It's actually quite brightly colored. He's wearing it over. So he's in his pajamas for sure when they show up there. And he's always drinking vodka. So you got to respect someone who drinks vodka and keeps it in his freezer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like faux velvet. It's like velour. Velour is the name of that type of fabric. It's polyester. So then here's the oh, I feel so bad. But seriously, like he's just like super nerdy. Those glasses are so awesome though. And they even have like thick lenses in it. I'm like wondering if the amber ashtray, absolutely. We had one of these. My mom smoked for a while. She quit smoking, thank God. And it's just in there. So that's that. And then we get to the teens. Oh
hi. I miss
you. Hello, my 16-year-old self. I say to him. Yeah, he's there's a name that we used to have for boys like this. Well, they would be bad news, first of all. So you want to stay away from them, but you at the same time you'd be totally intrigued by them. And secondly, we call them the Stafford doors boys at my school because they used to hang out. We had this one set of doors that you could smoke at. I can't even believe to this day that you could smoke there, but you could stand on these back stairs and smoke, and they'd all wear these like, Sudbury dinner jackets, which are like those check jackets.
Yeah.
In Canada. Miss Marvel has been distracted. Hubby has rescued me via laser pointer. Dacre looks way older than 24. Is that how old he is in real life?
Apparently.
Now, apparently he was in that superhero
Power
show. What is it?
Oh, he wasn't Power Rangers. He was in Red
Power Rangers, yes. So, okay, there's Dacre. So there he is. So, okay, this is what the costume designer had to say about this. About Dacre. Where is she here? Billy. She said, we did a lot of research of lifeguards in the 80s, and their shorts were so short. I almost feel like I could have gone shorter with Billy because 80s trunks were booty shorts, basically. And she said said that they were she was inspired by, what's that show from the 80s? Because with the red swim trunks.
Oh, Baywatch.
Baywatch, yeah. So they were inspired by Baywatch, and she said they custom made the piece to fit Montgomery's physique, remain as authentic to the era as possible, but not be too distracting to the audience. Is that a joke?
They failed.
How can that not be distracting to the audience? It's supposed to be distracting. Like, and he's got, look at this tattoo he's got.
It's like, girl.
And he's sucking on a lollipop.
It's like, again, girl, there is a reason why Baywatch swim trunks were red.
Yes.
And it's not because of practicality, honey. It is not.
Oh, sorry. Mara Jade said that she thinks that Maury's trench coat was London Fog. Yes, absolutely. You're totally right. I was thinking Scootum, which is the one that made Humphrey Bogart's trench coats, I think. He reminds me of a young Zac Efron. Yes, absolutely. It's funny to think that he's a young Zac Efron now.
Basically, he does look like a young Zac Efron if you think about it. With the hair. Looks a bit like it.
That hair. They had, I don't know. Well, here, I'll go back to here. She said, the costume designer from season 2 said that his look is supposed to be like a homage to Rob Lowe. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know Rob Lowe from the 80s. I know him from now, but maybe
and she says,
you know what he's giving me? He's giving more like a bit more like Kiefer Sutherland in The Lost Boys.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's definitely what his vibe is, for sure.
Same vibe. Different hairstyle, same vibe, basically. And I love it.
Yeah, and mom, of course, she's just come out of the water. She's all wet, but her makeup is impeccable. Look at her makeup.
Yeah, and
she's got like violet eyeshadow.
And she just came out from swimming, so bravo on that makeup, girl.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, she's wearing, well, we had like waterproof mascara in the 80s, which then you could never get off. It would be, you'd be wearing it for 2 days. So this is him when he's possessed. So he's wearing this really awful shirt, and his hair is brushed. He's brushed his hair, whereas here he lets it kind of go.
I just love when he's like windswept and just wild and free. It's like, yes.
Yeah, like this is really Billy. Whereas here you can tell this is the Demigorgon or whatever the possessed thing is.
The Mind Flayer.
The Mind Flayer, yeah. So you can see. And then he's got. And it's so funny because my son is growing one of these mustaches right now.
Oh, wow.
He's 13. He's getting one of those, like, puberty stashes.
Wow.
Yeah, I bought him a razor, but he hasn't used it yet. Ben Knight in drag makeup, queen makeup. Yep. Is drag queen makeup. Yeah, Ben Nye. Yeah.
I use Ben Nye.
I like Ben Nye makeup. I've used it for theater a lot.
Or Poison.
Yeah.
Oh, he also gives me like, oh my god, this super. He was huge in the 80s. This singer.
From Poison? Brett?
No, it was Slade.
Oh, Slade.
I think so. He was in like the really awful sci-fi movie. Oh my god.
I don't know. Okay, think about it. Okay, now this girl, I don't know who this actress is, but she was really good, and I recognized her. I'm like, I know her.
I don't know her. She looks very 80s. Like,
yeah, they did a great job on her.
But
You can see again the difference between her here and then when she's possessed by the mind flayer. It's kind of like Stepford Wives, right?
Yeah.
And those hoop earrings. Look at those blue hoop earrings.
Yeah.
Brett Michaels, is that who you mean? Brett Michaels? That's what Dornish Wench is saying. Yes, Brett Michaels. I kind of thought he was hot. I kind of thought Brett Michaels was hot. I know that sounds wrong, but okay. So Robin, who is just adorable and happens.
I love her.
And she is. I didn't even know. Okay, when I watched this, I had no idea that she was Ethan Hawke's daughter.
Yeah, with Uma Thurman. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see it. Like she is kind of like a combination of the two of them, right?
Basically, I think she has like her mother's eyes.
Mm-hmm. And her lips.
Facial structure, more or less, like a softer version of her father's face.
Yeah, this sign here, this picture here has become like a huge meme everywhere.
Yes, it was designed to be a meme. Basically.
Totally. So what the costume designer said here is that the Duffers wanted the uniform to be embarrassing enough that you would. Let me start here. It says this uniform, like the sort of the sailor style, references the 1982 high school set classic Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which features the pirate-themed Captain Hook fish and chips. And Paris says that the Duffers wanted the uniform to be embarrassing enough that you would be embarrassed wearing that at the mall in the 80s, especially for a dude like Steve who's trying to pick up women. He's still so cute. But appealing enough for viewers to be able to watch in the whole season. I feel like we bridged the gap of embarrassing but also really cute. Yeah, and like someone was saying earlier that these are already available online. And then I love their name tags too, which they were like kind of like laser carved or whatever. Yeah. Which you could go to the mall. You could go and get name tags done. They're kind of like that's not a good picture. Yeah, and it's like it's a really vivid blue too, like ultramarine blue kind of thing.
Basically, like a dark royal, maybe, like a dark royal blue. But yeah, one time I went to get like tags made at the mall because I was part of the. What was it? I was part of the club, and I think I was like the secretary of the club. I had to get tags.
Yeah, so if you look at the tag here, you can see it's like it's carved into the red, and it's got a little anchor, and then look, he's got like a little applique of an ice cream cone. So cute. Oh. Yeah, we used to call these types of shirts middies, which was big in the 80s too.
The sailor shirts.
The sailor shirts were really, really big in the 80s. I had several of them. I had like a white one with blue, and I had a blue one with white, and then I'd wear them with like leggings, or I'd wear them with little hobble skirts, and then I'd wear the little ties. Yeah, I had a lot and I had suspenders that I would wear. I just was really into the sailor look. That was really my thing. Cool. And Robin's is slightly different. She's kind of got a little bit more like a more like olive oil, or that sort of that little girl style collar.
Yeah.
Dudes wore those sailor shirts. They did, and sailors did. Are you talking about the 80s? No, guys didn't wear those in the 80s. No, definitely not. But they did earlier wear them as if they were sailors. Yeah. These are based on an actual sailor uniform. I have a baby pink. Oh, and also little boys would wear sailor outfits as well. So there's Steve, and there they are. And then they're wearing little shorts. That's super cute. Robin again. She's wearing Converse, I think.
Yeah, I just love the silhouette of the uniform. It's so cool. It's so fun. And
her sleeves are kind of like slightly puffed sleeves, right? Like just ever so slightly.
A little bit, yeah. Mhm. It goes with the pants, because her pants are very like puffy.
They are. They're kind of full. So we really like so that's the only outfit that Steve wears all season, which is really interesting because of course in season 1 and 2 he had all kinds of different outfits.
Yeah.
And the Nancy.
I loved Nancy's costumes. They were just great. And her hair. She looks so much like her mother. Like so much.
Who's her mother? Oh, you mean in the show?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it's excellent casting for sure. So they said Nancy has that Molly Ringwald type vibe. This is what the costume designer said. So it was nice to update her look to feel like a young woman in the workforce who's going to be tough and get stuff done. So a lot of the clothes for her, they say, are she purchased one-off dead stock vintage pieces off of eBay and vendors across the country. So, and then this piece here, she said the purple dress with the square cutouts was from Etsy, but multiples were needed so that Paris and her team sourced the same weight cotton, custom dyed the fabric, and made 3 exact copies. That's pretty crazy, eh? See, yeah. This is just me, but if I was doing this, I would have just made all her clothes from scratch, because on a show like this, a horror movie, that they're just gonna need multiples. So you might as well just design them to begin with.
One of the things that I really loved about her costumes this season is that she didn't look comfortable in them, if you know what I mean. It's like she's trying so hard to come across as an adult, because she gets so much sexism in the workplace.
Yeah.
There's a bit of sexism in the workplace. And she's just trying to dress to impress in the workplace, and which of course is not working. But basically she's trying to grow up too fast, whereas when in the previous seasons she looked comfortable in her own skin, but now that she's an adult and she's out of high school, which for many people is like a safe zone, because you're used to being a child, but now you're an adult, you have to navigate this new world.
Yeah, there's disagreements about the dress, but I really love these. I love how the buttons are here. Like it's like a top and then a skirt and then it's attached with the buttons. Like the skirt's attached with the buttons. That's kind of a neat design.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah, and then I like how they added the turquoise piping on the neckline. I think that's kind of cool. Goddess says, anyone else thinking we've not seen enough shoulder pads and lady power suits or something set in the 80s? Yeah, yes. I think because I mean, when I was in high school, I never wore shoulder pads. At least I might have had one outfit with shoulder pads, but for the most part, no. But the moms would have.
Maybe it's that the shoulder pads were more like mid to late 80s than mid to early. Or
yeah, it's early 80s. Yeah, it's true. It has. There's still a bit of a 70s sort of. Little bit of a carryover. Yeah. So these are some of the girls that Billy is rejecting.
Like the girl in the back, like the before picture. I love that the girl with the white striped shirt. The hair, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's really great. She's got the split ponytails.
She looks like a poodle.
Yeah. And again, like if you had hair like this, like you kind of like, I don't know how to deal with my hair. That's why she's got that wide-eyed look, because she's like, I tried to tame my hair today, but it had an idea of itself, of its own. And then she's got those big, button earrings, which are kind of goofy.
Yeah.
And that color too, it's so muted. Like I would never put this on someone. I mean, obviously this is perfect for this, but it's just, that color on her. But she's wearing lots of blush, which everyone wore in the 80s. Everyone wore blush. So there's you see the blush. I love her. I think she's totally perfect. And even that look on her face.
She's interested though.
And her eye makeup is just a little bit overdone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that, it's like a bird of paradise.
That flower shirt is
yep. It's great. I've seen stuff like this around in, just in stores. She's wearing a Purdue, like in vintage stores. I've seen stuff like this around. It would be I think what happens is that when someone dies, like an old lady or whatever dies, she's got all these clothes in her closet that she's got, and then the family have to get rid of them. So they end up in vintage stores. Bakelite bracelet, exactly. Oh. Then we got the 80s. So we got the season 2. So this is just a slightly different, because what Paris said. Isn't that a great name, by the way?
Yes.
like everything is just a bit brighter, you know. Everything is just for season 3, everything is just so much brighter. Whereas in season 2, it's still a little bit more muted. So here it's a little more muted, and then of course in season 1, it's even darker than this. So it does kind of get brighter. It's like opposite Game of Thrones. Like it gets brighter as you go along, whereas Game of Thrones everything gets darker. This is really cute though. This little sweater she's wearing, this little Argyle style sweater.
Oh, he's
Better
cute.
be more Dacre, says Caligula. I think I've got a few more of him, yes.
Yeah, that's so
And I actually like Jonathan better here. Like in season, did you not
great.
find he looked kind of goofy? Or is he here?
I didn't like him. Like his and Nancy's relationship, I did not like.
Yeah, and he looks, and I don't know what's going on with his hair here, but I do not like it. Like it's just, and this color on him is awful.
It does not look good. I'm sorry. I'm
Like,
sure
look
he
at-
looks handsome in like real life, but no.
No, he just does
like
not
every
look good
time-
at all.
Every time I look at him, it's like, Nancy, what do you see in that guy?
He looks so
God.
much better here in season 2.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Like his hair?
Yeah,
Yeah, he looks like Harry Styles, and he is actually British. And they're a couple in real life apparently.
Oh yeah, they're dating in real life.
Yeah. So like this, I think this looks really good together. So this is a different costume designer. And then here they are again. She's got this nice little like cashmere coat.
Yeah, like the peacoat.
It's really, really nice. I would wear that actually now.
Yeah, me too.
And this
I love that
sweater. I love this sweater. Oh my God. It's kind of like a cable knit.
Yeah.
And then it's got the buttons at the shoulder, which is really 80s. But also, when I was doing Penny Dreadful, this is actually, they used to make sweaters like this in the late 1800s. This sort of style, not this color. They would have been like more natural colors, but with the shoulders and the rib neck like that.
It gives me like Penny Dreadful vibes, you know, when in the flashback episode with Vanessa and Patty LuPone.
Absolutely, yeah. And then the puff sleeves, I don't know if that was that period though, but that's definitely 80s. But I don't know if the puff sleeves were though. Did she have puff sleeves in Penny Dreadful? What's her name? Vanessa?
Oh yeah, she wore puff sleeves.
When you did Penny Dreadful, I'm not sure I've seen the video. Yes, I did Penny Dreadful. It's one of my favorite shows, and I was really mad that they canceled it. Yeah. But anyways, I love that sweater. I just really love it. Maybe that'll come back. And here it is. Actually, here it is in like brighter light. It's really, so it's sort of like that, you knitters out there can tell me it's sort of like that modeled. It's not quite one color or another color. And again, this little pea coat she's wearing is super cute.
It's like a purplish gray.
It's kind of purplish gray, yeah. And then she's got her whole styling's really nice. But you can see the huge transformation between season 2 and season 3. She's kind of more like Girl Next Door here, but season 3 she kind of gets more of a.
She gets more.
Yeah. Oh, and here's that group, the 7.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how I felt about this. I didn't really like this girl here, this main character, her sister.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I didn't. Yeah.
She wasn't interesting. She was just a warlord, basically.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't give me enough development with her to make me care. She was very one note.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, I think that was mixed with the fans. Now, this is still when Steve and Nancy are together. Again, there's one of those Fair Isle sweaters, which is so pretty. It's so pretty. And the big turtleneck. And then Steve wearing a polo shirt.
I honestly like their relationship more than I like Jonathan.
Yeah. And they're eating KFC. So funny.
She broke his heart and he deserves it.
Yeah. But she hasn't quite, like, she sort of definitely, especially with her hair, I noticed in season 3, it was a lot more styled. Whereas here it's sort of still quite natural looking. She's not using a lot of product or.
That's what I mean. When I was talking about Nancy, she wants to be taken seriously as an adult. She's shedding her girl persona, let's say, to become more adult and to become more serious and more respected. And again, as a person who's a victim of basically sexism in the workplace, where she's not anything other than just a joke to these stupid men, she constantly needs to feel like she's in control of something, even if that's her appearance.
Yeah, it's funny because like I'm the same age that Nancy and what is his name?
Jonathan?
Steve, sorry. I'm the same age that Nancy and Steve would have been, like that timeline or whatever. And I had this, when I was in, I think it was just like when I was graduating high school or maybe I got a job at working at a paint store, kind of like John Travolta, in Saturday Night Fever. And so I had this job working in the paint store and I had a really great manager. He was awesome. And then he left to go work at head office and we got this new manager and he was a douchebag. And because of the way I am, I had like no problem just completely, what do you call it? Just talking down him, like just, like belittling him because he was such a jerk. Anyway, so one day I went into the back room and his friend was there and his friend told me to my face that I had the perfect mouth for giving head.
Wow.
And I was like, what? And I ended up quitting. Like I quit right after that.
Oh my God.
And of course my boss laughed. My boss laughed because he was just like those guys that she worked with, right? So it was just like a boys club. So anyway, yeah, I couldn't believe it. And like, just even like, my sister had really bad experiences. So were there women really treated like Nancy like that?
Basically.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I actually, years later, I worked with this other woman and she was older than me and she would tell me, like, we were talking about being chased around desks. Like, I've been chased around a couple of desks. Like, by a drunk manager or something like that. My sister had that same thing. Yeah, it was really, really crazy. But because I'm so mouthy, like, I would always sort of, like, speak up about it and, always get myself in trouble because people would be like, well, why can't you be a team player? Why can't you, get along with everybody? I'm like, fudge that. I'm not getting along with them. They're an asshole. You know what I mean? So it always caused me a lot of trouble because I wouldn't just sort of be quiet about it. Oh, Caligula said, I only had one creepy employment encounter. It was during an interview. Oh God. I'm sorry to hear that, Caligula.
I at least, so far, people have been my bosses. They're cool and well, my coworkers. They're mostly cool. They like to goof around a lot, but I never took it seriously. So I haven't had that type of encounter as of yet. But
yeah, it's just really, really strange. Like, it's so weird too, because I've always been a feminist. I've always identified as a feminist ever since I was in high school. So I used to be like, why is this happening? I don't understand why this stuff is going on. Like it always, and my father is like, my parents are like very, very liberal. And my dad has always been like, pro-feminist and everything. So it was always like just such a strange experience to have that happen to me. So I actually came up with this thing. We were talking about this the other day, where if someone asked me out and I wasn't interested in going out with them, then I would say, oh, I have a policy. Sorry, I have a policy that I can't date a customer. I can't go out, for this reason. And one of the things I realized is that if you said that, nobody could argue with it because, well, you've got a policy, right? So if I was working in with the public, I'd say, oh, I'm really sorry. I have a policy. I don't date, coworkers, or I don't date customers. And I was able to get away with it because I would say policy. Because that was sort of how I got through the 90s was with my policy. So, and then I later had a policy that I didn't date actors when I worked in film and theater. So, and that was a very good policy to have, by the way. Nothing against actors, but yeah. Sorry to bring this down, guys.
Yeah, it's fine.
I just totally like killed this stream.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm lucky I have a wonderful significant other now.
Aww.
Yeah. and 2 children who was very respectful. My son actually, if I say something that's inappropriate about either sex, my son will say, "Mom, that's sexist." And I'll be like, you're right. That is sexist. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. So that's how it is now in this house.
Yeah, it happens.
Hey, John, what's that? No policy for tennis pros? I never got hit on by a tennis pro, but if I did, I probably would have had a policy. Now, John, he is one of the most respectful men that I've ever met, and a lovely person, by the way.
Awesome.
And he has a lovely wife, and they've been married for a long, long time. So back to this. So, this is the members only. Remember we were talking about members only. This is sort of like a members only jacket here. I think it even has the label on it there. So this was really, really hot in the 80s. And you know what? They're still around. Like, you can still get these. And they come in all kinds of different colors. But the signature thing is that they've got this sort of like collar, it's got like tabs, and then there's like another little band that goes, and then it snaps around if you want to close it all the way. But most guys never did that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So Steve, of course, but they're expensive. So Steve, of course, he has money. I think he's wearing Varnays. Is anyone at Ray-Bans? Ray-Bans, probably.
I wear glasses, so I can't really wear Ray-Bans.
Mm-hmm. You can get them. Can't you get prescription?
Well, yeah. My best friend, she has prescription shades.
The funny thing about his, and also the thing about his bat that's sort of funny. It's kind of like Lucille. If anybody watches The Walking Dead, did anybody get that sort of same vibe? That's sort of like Lucille.
I've never watched The Walking Dead. So.
Yeah, it's basically it's a bat with nails shoved into it. Oh, maybe his is barbed wire. Actually, I think his is barbed wire.
Oh,
it's another type of, yeah. Oh, there's Dacre. Hello, Dacre.
He's sexy and dangerous.
He is sexy and dangerous. One of the things I like about him, too, is he's got like these really, really blue eyes. Sorry, this has nothing to do with costumes. But he's got these really blue eyes, and then his eyelashes are so dark.
And so thick. It's like,
so thick.
But like, yes, though? Like, just give me all the thickness. I'll take it. He's pretty much. Did you see? Has anybody here seen his audition that he did for the show? Did you see that, Tatiana? It's on YouTube. You got to watch it if you haven't. He's really talented, and and the fact that he's Australian, part Canadian, his accent is impeccable. But he did say, I saw him in an interview. He said he watched a few episodes where he did flub up, like where he screwed up. But I would have been hard pressed to know that he was Australian. Me too. It wasn't until I saw an interview of him in, I don't know, I think Good Morning America or something like that. I was like, oh, he's an Aussie?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Even
Aussies are, yeah. Now this jacket here, I love this jacket. So this is sort of like kind of like. It's a little bit like a flight jacket or a leather jacket, but they used to do that sort of distressed stonewash kind of look to it, where they would distress it. That was really hot back in the 80s. Caligula, you hate Aussie accents? His Australian accent isn't even that strong. I think it's because his mother's Canadian. He was saying his mother's Canadian. Maybe that's why. Yeah, like a flight jacket, except it doesn't. And then sometimes it would have the Sherpa collar on it.
And yeah, in the fighter,
which was really huge in Game of Thrones again, or not Game of Thrones, 80s. Game of Thrones. I don't know what was going on there. I had Game of Thrones in my mind. And then of course he's wearing this. He has to wear his buttons undone.
Of course, it's like
yeah. Now apparently I read that this pendant he's wearing here is actually his own. He said that's one thing they let him wear. This pendant.
Yeah, and I've heard theories that pendant is actually given to him by his mother, which is like there's a lot of emotional baggage to that.
Oh really? Oh, I didn't know that. His Canadian mother?
No, I mean the show. Like in the show.
Oh, in the show. Oh, sorry. I thought you meant in real life. Yeah, I think this.
His mother gave him that pendant.
No, I thought it was a Levi's jacket, but there's a label on here.
I don't know what it is.
The writers kind of forgot that Bill was a racist in season 2.
Yeah. Well, people keep arguing about that fact. Like, is he or is he not? Because they say, oh, he's a racist because of what he says to Max. But people have to remember that before then, he sees Max and Lucas arguing and sees Lucas making her cry. And I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if that, like, triggered, like, a defensiveness of his sister. Whether it be twisted or not, it's like it could have been more. It could have been. Yes, he has a very nice book, like bravo.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. Was that rude that I have it just zoomed in on that?
No, that's totally perfectly fine.
And he's got a Zippo lighter. Remember, Zippos are really big.
Oh yeah, Zippo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he's supposed to be a despicable character.
Yeah, but
He's not supposed to be.
But he's sympathetic too, because especially because
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And he has a really great arc.
I mean, this is the thing. I'm going to do this, and I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to compare this to 50 Shades of Grey. Now, hear me out. What makes this a good character? What made this a good character and makes Christian Grey a horrible character? Because they're very similar in the sense that they are despicable characters, both of them. But they frame Christian Grey as a good guy
Yeah.
when he's not at all whatsoever in any of the books. And they try to make excuses for him when he's being bad. Like, oh, he's just damaged. He's the perfect woman who cure him. Like, no, he's a bad dude. Whereas with Billy, they show he is an asshole. He is a bad person.
Yeah.
But they show you why he is a bad person. And you can understand him better of why he does the things he does, and you want him to become better. Because of that, you can see the potential of good in him. You cannot see the potential of good in Christian Grey at all.
No, I agree. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was a huge thing on the internet about Christian Grey, about the books or whatever, and
like, yeah.
The movies are so terrible. I only saw the first one, to be honest with you.
I only see reviews of the shows because I need to see them through a filter of ridicule and review.
Caligula says she loves burgundy on guys with blue eyes. This is a nice shirt. One of the things I noticed is he's got the earring, which again is that Rob Lowe thing. If anybody's seen Almost Fire, he's got that little earring, I think. But I think he's been crying here.
Yeah, I think this is
when his father was abusing him, right?
Yeah.
And then there's that pendant again that he's wearing there. But he has a collection of like Roman coin jewelry or something. I think Dacre Montgomery said. Oh, Vanessa, she gave a spoiler.
You spoiled it. I'm sorry, Caligula.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and this is sort of just him looking normal. But he's got super big eyebrows. So he does have a pierced earring here too.
He has both earrings pierced.
He does have both earrings pierced. Oh, she wasn't going to watch it anyway. Okay. St. Christopher Medal. I think it's actually, he did an interview where it might be a St. Christopher's, but I thought he said they were like Roman coins. He has these like, he buys them from this, oh, no way. Really? Caligula? Oh, that's so cool. She's saying The Favorite is on HBO this month.
I want to see it. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. And then I put this picture in because I just love this group of girls. Isn't this awesome? This is my last slide.
That you could see that in the Karen movie, like
totally,
or like an 80s movie, or like in Pretty in Pink or Breakfast Club, like definitely.
This looks like it's from an 80s movie. This is such an amazing job at styling. Like, and their hair, like we were talking about, someone was talking about earlier about feather back hair. This is what, and then, and this is the girl that, I think she's the girlfriend of that used to be his, sorry if I keep forgetting people's names, remember Steve's friend and they get in a fight?
Tommy, whatever.
Yeah. She's wearing sort of that type of, Again, that sort of retro 80s ski jacket with the turtleneck. But these
You know what? I don't know if you watch Drag Race, like RuPaul's Drag Race.
no, I haven't seen it.
You should. But in All Stars 2, oh, in All Stars 2, one of the contestants, Katya, whom I adore, she came out in an outfit like very similar to this. And it was amazing. She said she
Really?
was like an 80s literary agent that was also a lesbian. And it was like, yes, basically that is what you are. And it was, you need to watch Drag Race, like, girl.
Yeah, but this blue top here, this was like kind of like they had this sort of knit in the 80s. It was acrylic. It was like it would melt. Like honestly, if you put it in the dryer or something, I think it would melt. It was so bad, like polyester. But it had kind of a bit of a nubby texture to it, and then it came in all these different like bright colors like this turquoise. And yeah, they would be short. Oftentimes it'd be short, or she might have just tucked it in. But oftentimes the tops would be super cropped, like this one here. It's like really cropped. Whereas nowadays, most tops are long. So the pants would be high, but then the tops underneath would be short. And then it would be this really kind of crazy crinkled thing. I like this little pink kind of bomber jacket as well. It's really cute. Kind of like a school jacket, but in pastel. They're all cute. Even this one here with this interesting collar. Like that's kind of a neat collar. And it's got the puff sleeves again.
Yeah.
That's adorbs.
That is very late 90s, 1900s.
I love it. I love that. But this is one of my favorite pictures of the show. But that's all I have for the pictures, guys. What'd you think?
I love it.
And then we'll just let me just go back and put it back on your design there, Tatiana, if you wanted to say anything else about that.
You know, I just love the design and I love this show, and it just inspired me to do that outfit. So
Oh, bye, John. John Latham's got to go. Thank you so much for coming in. You're working. Kalika said RuPaul is misogynist, so I don't know. Is that true? RuPaul's a misogynist?
Yeah, he's controversial.
I think I've heard that. It's always really interesting. Like, for instance, okay, I was going to tell you this story. So we had a vacation with the family, not this past week, but the week before. And we went to this beach. And this is the thing I just laugh about Ontario. So in Canada, I'm in Ontario, and then the province next to us is Quebec. And they have a very controversial headdress bill, where they're trying to ban certain cultures from wearing headdresses. And even certain people wearing kippas or any type of religious garb, right? Yeah. So anyway, yeah, absolutely, like an hijab. And so we go to this beach, which is out by where my husband grew up in Prince Edward County. It's a beautiful area, but it's still in Ontario, but a lot of Quebec tourists come. So we went to this beach, and it was really crowded because the shoreline, like the water is really, really high. So people were kind of like on top of each other. And so this family of Muslims comes and sits on the beach, and they wear these like kind of like tankinis. It's like a one-piecer, and then they wear their hijab with it, and they go swimming in it, but it's made out of swimsuit material. So I was laughing because there's this couple in front of me, this lesbian couple in front of me, and then there's the Muslim family in front of them, and the lesbian couple were like kind of smirking at the Muslim family, because they were from Quebec, and a lot of people in Quebec are very much against the hijab being worn in public, whereas people in Ontario are more progressive. So I was just like, this is so crazy. Like, here you are, able to marry in Canada because of what progressives have done, and then meanwhile you're being intolerant of what this family are doing, which is just having a day at the beach. So I just thought the whole thing was just like really, really odd. So I always think it's strange when that happens.
Yeah, people can be complicated, but
burkini. Yeah, the
burkini, but they can also be very close-minded, and they can't see the forest from the trees. Like, yeah, I've been oppressed and all that, and I got what I wanted, yay, but so you can't get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because
yeah. Yeah, so
Like, yeah,
I was just saying. Well, no. Well, first of all, Caligula, Sikhs and Muslims are different. They're two different cultures. And then secondly, we haven't had any more honor killings than we've had of any type of killing in Canada. Canada is a very peaceful country. We have a citizenship that is tolerant and accepting of many faiths and cultures. Like, I'm an atheist, but I have no problem with somebody else practicing their religion. I would never hold it against another individual, whatever they want to practice. So, but I always think it's funny when one group of people who feel marginalized are criticizing another group of individuals who are oftentimes marginalized. I just find it kind of curious. So I think this is going to happen. Like, for instance, we have this thing right now, Tatiana, this is so funny. We have this thing happening in Canada. So there's this guy, oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. There's a transgender woman who wanted to go and get a bikini wax. But she doesn't have female parts, she has male parts. So the technician said, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to wax you because you have male parts and I can't. Well, either, first of all, I'm not trained in that, or secondly, it's against my religion. So it all went to the Human Rights Tribunal. So I was just kind of like, oh my God, you guys, like, you're all fighting each other over what your rights are.
well, yeah, that's basically like this baker who didn't want to bake a cake for a gay wedding
Mm-hmm.
because it's against their religion or whatever. It's like, it's business. They're paying you, and they're probably gonna pay you a lot. Really?
Yeah.
Like, why? Why?
Well, yeah. So, anyways, it's just going to be, yeah. So it's just, I don't know what's going to happen over the next several decades, because it's just, there's going to be like all of these clashes with people who are, their rights are being infringed upon, and then someone else's rights are being infringed upon. So it's going to be really, I don't know. And then of course we're getting a lot of trickling in from the United States. So this is why a lot of this stuff is happening as well.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are too, obviously, because you're part of the States.
Yeah, it happens. It's sad.
Yeah.
It happens.
Well, anyway, so Tatiana, why don't we, one of the things I forgot to mention at the beginning of the stream is this is the first stream we've done since Game of Thrones ended. We had the Game of Thrones finale and that ended, and then we were like, oh, we should do, another show. So, this is actually, we were really happy that everyone turned out, because this is sort of like everyone's busy. It's the summer, and we thought it'd be really, really fun to have a midsummer stream to talk about costumes. And Tatiana, you and I had just talked about, so were you feeling with Game of Thrones going forward? Like, are you, like, there's some stuff, oh, you know what happened the other day I was going to tell you? And I don't really know what to think about this, but when I was in John's stream, they're already leaking pictures of the costumes for the prequel.
Really?
And, well, just one. But I was kind of like, oh my God, like, because I don't even, it's hard to, okay, like when Game of Thrones had leaked pictures, it wasn't so bad, because at least we knew the context of the costumes, and we knew the characters, and we knew what the story was, and we knew at least what the show was called, because we still don't even know what the show is called. But in this particular case,
I think it's called Fire and Ash.
No, it's not. No, they're calling it Blood Moon, but they think that's the working title.
That's a bad title. I don't like it.
So, and it's supposed to be about the Age of Heroes. So, I just said, when the person showed it to me, I said, look, like, it's really hard for me to look at a costume out of context. I don't know the story, like, because, we've talked a lot about this, that costumes are so tied to the character and the story. And so just to look at a piece of clothing out of context, I have no idea what the setting is. I have no idea what
the characters are like.
Yeah, it was Naomi Watts, and it was like a gold number she was wearing. But otherwise, it's kind of, to me, it's just like kind of like fashion, right? It's just sort of like, it's kind of fashion. So I'm kind of the mind that I really don't want to look at pictures of that until the show is actually officially, launched. Yeah. So I'm probably going to do that. And then there's another show coming out, which I thought would be really fun if you want, is The Witcher.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
It's based on a book, and a lot of people have talked about it, but it's based on a video game, which I'm not a gamer. I know about
Yeah, I'm not really much of a gamer either.
What's that?
I'm not really much of a gamer, so.
Yeah, but the show apparently is based more on the books, and so Henry Cavill is starring in it. You know, who played Superman. He's really handsome. He was also in The Tudors. Do you remember him in The Tudors?
I
Henry
haven't watched it.
Cavill.
I only saw one episode of The Tudors and he wasn't in it.
You only saw what?
I only saw one episode of The Tudors.
Oh, okay. I only watched the first season. So anyway, so I thought that could be so because they're talking about what's going to be the next, Game of Thrones. And I think one of the things I sort of felt about it is whenever you have a show that's like really magical, like Game of Thrones, it's going to be hard to just recreate that magic, right? You can't just sort of like force magic. So everyone's like, it could be maybe the next Lord of the Rings series, or it could be The Witcher, or it could be the prequel. But I think it's going to be really, really difficult for them to get that magic again on purpose, like intentionally, like, hey, let's make another successful show like Lord of the Ring, like Game of Thrones. So I don't know if we're going to have another show like that, at least not for a long time.
Well, hopefully it'll be at the very least decent.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's sort of what I'm kind of hoping for, that it'll be decent, but I don't know that they'll be able to capture that same kind of magic that they had in Game of Thrones.
I think it's pretty much what happened with Game of Thrones is what happened with Lord of the Rings. It was the right thing at the right time.
Yeah.
Like, because before Lord of the Rings, fantasy genre was basically dead in the water. It was at most a niche market. But then Lord of the Rings came, and all of a sudden it's mainstream, and that basically opens the door to let's say Harry Potter, to a bunch of TV shows and movies and everything all that. It's basically Lord of the Rings is to fantasy what the Beatles were to the British invasion, basically.
Yeah.
And more or less the same happened now with Game of Thrones. It opened the doors to new shows, to cinematic TV shows. Let's say, like Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, like all these things. It opens doors, and you can just pick that up again. Again, right thing at the right time.
Yeah, the Marjay said that Carnival Row looks interesting. Have you seen that? It's with Margie, you'll have to tell me who the actress is in that, and the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean, and also Lord of the Rings. He's in it.
Orlando Bloom?
Yes, Orlando Bloom is in it, and the girl in it is she's a model actress.
Ooh. Cool.
So that looks really cool. Vanessa says, I do think Blood Moon is going to be good because there's not pressure from the books. Yeah, I mean, it could go either way, right? I mean, I'm not sure. George Martin, I think, is behind it, though. So he's involved.
Oh.
Caligula, the costuming team. So Michelle is not designing the new prequel, but she said that a lot of the people who were initially on the team of Game of Thrones are going to be working on it. So I don't know who the costume designer on that is. So anyway, I think it'll have to be just a wait and see. But yeah. I there's just some, I was really excited when I discovered Gentleman Jack. It was actually Romy who recommended it to me. I was really excited when I discovered that because it was just such a nice change from Game of Thrones. Like sometimes you just need a real good change. And then I watched The Boys, which is not a costuming show at all, but it is so good on Amazon Prime. So it's amazing. If anybody hasn't seen it, it's really good. So that was really good too, because I just kind of needed to do something different. And then now my husband and I are finishing watching Glow, which is, just about female wrestlers in the 80s. It's hilarious. It's really funny. So anyway, I don't know. We'll see if we get back into the medieval into the fantasy. Oh yeah, Angel Over says The Boys was great. Oh, and Caligula's obsessed with the 1830s. So am I. Yes, I love the 1830s.
No,
I was tweeting about this actually when I was in college. My theater class, we all had in my costume class, I should say, we all had to do a different time period and do an analysis of it. and then a presentation. And I got the romantic period. And I remember being really mad because I wanted like the Jane Austen Regency period, which I loved. And so I was like, oh, the sleeves, they're ridiculous. And the skirts, they're just, and the bonnets. And I just thought it was just like outrageous. So anyway, I did it. And I just was kind of like, ugh. So when I went to do Gentleman Jack, I just like kind of was like, because I was looking at it with such a different set of eyes, like compared to when I was in college, I was in my 20s. It was just such a neat experience. I had such a greater appreciation of it than I did when I was in college. And yeah, and the weird length of the gowns, because they're just sort of like, as Caligula said, they're just sort of like above the ankle, which is really odd, you know, like an odd length. But no, I've come to have a great admiration for that time period now.
Nice.
Yeah. So Tatiana's, she's, I love your belt, by the way.
Thank you.
So everybody, we're going to wind down now. I think Tatiana's running out of steam. What?
I'm a bit hungry.
Oh, you're hungry. Okay. So we're going to wrap everything up. Thank you so much to everybody for coming by.
Thank you.
And Tatiana, we'll try and do this again soon, but you're leaving for college when? For university?
Around August 28th.
Oh, okay.
At the end of
And
so we can do like a Gentleman Jack live stream.
yeah, that would be really fun. We should do that. We should do a Gentleman Jack because Romy started a Gentleman Jack Facebook group, and she's got like 130 people in there now, I think. So maybe we could do an invite and see if Romy might want to come on the show with us and talk about Gentleman Jack because she's really into it. Yay! So thank you so much. So thank you, Caligula, Vanessa. Who else is still here? Angel Over, Mara Jade. I think you guys are the last ones left. Oh, there's some other people here, but they're not talking.
Wow.
And everyone else who came into the stream tonight, we really appreciate it. Really appreciate you guys. Love talking about costumes. So much fun.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, I hope you guys have a great night as well. Oh, you were lurking, Mara Jade. Okay, that's okay. Cool. All right, so bye, everybody. Thank you so much. And yeah, so I think the StreamYard, we were using this new platform. I think it's pretty good. What did you think of it, Tatiana?
I approve. I
I approve. Thumbs up.
Also, big thing. I didn't basically just cut out of the stream and just disappear.
Yeah, because it's a new platform. So maybe I think it's pretty successful. I think it was pretty good.
This is pretty good. Good job, Google.
Yay! Woohoo! Okay, so I'll talk to you everybody later. See ya in the next video, everyone. Bye.